weeks since Heathmont played Mitcham out here a few weeks ago.
Well, joining us in the stats chair this afternoon, thanks to Choose Tap, he's got the fumbles already. It's a very good afternoon to you, Daniel Sensick.
Yeah, very good afternoon to you, BWS, and all the listeners out there. Can't wait for this game. It's an elimination final for both sides.
Let's go down boundary side for the first time this afternoon and introduce our solo boundary rider until Braden Ingram arrives during the first quarter. Andy Paolici's down there. How are you today, Andy? Not quite got Andy on the line at the moment. So let's go through the tips. We didn't do that. Peter Baird, you're going for Ringwood this afternoon.
I'm sticking with the Redbacks. I reckon they can get the job done.
And of course, Brad Henderson, are you going to go with Heathmont maybe?
No, I'm not, because I've backed Heathmont a couple of times this year when I thought they were a good thing, and they let me down. So today I'm going for Ringwood without Darren Sheen in the side. I think Ringwood will be too strong.
Yes, well, I'll have to agree with everybody. I think Ringwood probably are the strongest side this afternoon. If Mickey Aiken had have lined up for the Heathmont side, I thought he might have structured them up. They were teasing everyone throughout the week with even naming Mickey Aiken in the side. So I think the favouritism has to fall back in the Redbacks' hands. And, geez, I just think it's going to be a really close game. There weren't many goals kicked in that reserves match earlier, only 6 goals, I think, for the total match. So expect it to be sloppy. And let's cross down boundary side as we speak to Andy Paolici for the first time this afternoon, doing a solo. G'day, Andy.
Guys, how you going today? And good morning, good afternoon to all the listeners as well. Guys, I'm right for today's game. The equation is simple, guys. The weather, well, it said rain easing, but and it has eventually for now, but I think it will come back later today, guys. There's a few ominous clouds.
Brad Henderson to take us away in this big Division 3 clash. It's the last round of the season. Heathmont-Ringwood.
Play is underway in the first quarter, and immediately a huge pack forms around the ball as some rain just starts to fall. Ball shoveled out there. Heathmont will go forward first through Sindri. Neat pass to Savoury on a long lead, and Rob Savoury slides in to take the mark very close to the boundary line. Doesn't waste any time, Savoury. Quickly got the ball to boot, but wasn't his best effort. McLean clears away for Ringwood. Ball handballed there towards the boundary line and over, and we'll have a throw in close to the scoreboard. And of course there is no score thus far in the first quarter. First clearance of the game for going the way of Heathmont through Sindri. Now the ball shot out into the path once again there of David Sindri. This time the boundary line comes into play once more.
Let's cross down boundary side to Andy Paolici. What's the wind like down there and who's got the advantage?
Oh, guys, it is absolutely ripping down here, the wind. I'd have to say at the moment it's blowing towards the broadcast side there, guys. Just to give you a quick one with the benches, today we've got Nathan Parker, Will Villani, Jake Sheriff and Aaron Hamer for Heathmont, and for Ringwood we've got Kieran Hill, Luke Eastick, Pat Burmeister and Adam Parsons, guys. Thank you.
Thanks very much to Andy there on the boundary, and Adam Parsons, I'm sure he won't be on the bench for too long. Getting into the action pretty soon as Knudsen got a little handball out to Horden. Macklin slides in, puts his body over the ball, and once again a ball up to result. And you will see a lot of this, I think, in the early stages of this game. First 15 minutes we'll have, it'll be pretty tight. I mean, every contest will be hotly contested as it's socket off the ground there by Shaw. And he's just off target. Minor score kick there by Steve Shaw, the captain of the Heathmont side. First score on the board, on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, and the Jets lead by a point.
Really riveting matchup I see in the middle already there, BWS, with David Sindri taking Luke Davis, two of the prime movers for both teams.
Well, McCann kicked it in for the Redbacks. It went across the half-back line now for them, going for the target of Tim Burmeister. Ball socket over the boundary line and out of bounds, right near that Bendigo Bank scoreboard, which shows at the 2.5 minute mark. Ringwood are one behind, Heathmont yet to score. So it's Ringwood with the breeze in the first turn. The umpire balls it in. It was Burmeister that went up against Baker. Comes down to Burmeister now. He's going to swing around on that left boot. It wasn't a crash-hot kick. It's gone out of bounds on the full. So Heathmont will look to reload. At the centre wing position. Big game out here today. Good crowd emerging. Mother Nature hasn't been kind, but it keeps breaking up every so often. So Luke Broadbent is going to go backwards. That was interesting. So they conceded a little bit of ground there, Heathmont, and the kick was intended that time for Georgia. Went straight over the top of his head, out of bounds on the full, so it'll be Jones. to bring it back in for Ringwood.
Really poor kick there from Heathmont. If you're going to go backwards, you need to make sure with the next pass you hit your target, and he's put it out on the floor and just turn the ball back over to Ringwood in the spot where they originally had the ball themselves.
Savory got the fist away, that was okay. Came out to O'Driscoll, kick up towards the half-forward line, or they're about to pack forms. Over the top of the was Grinter, got it away, Burmeister. Now had time to steady, kicked it up towards the half-forward line, and a good pass too. And a mark has been taken out there by Scott Lang. Wants to keep the ball moving, clean skills go in, and maybe a little bit of a shove here. The umpire's paid it, so it'll be a free kick to Ringwood. About 55 metres out from goal. We'll go to Trent Farmer. Looking for options. Distance might be a bit of a struggle for him from here today on a wet conditions. Kicks it now into the forward pocket. Who's going to come out on the lead? Oh, it was a good attempt too. But a mark has been taken for Heathmont in the last line of defence, and the Jets are going to clear.
They do indeed. Well, they've tried to, but Katsiavos has had that kick well scouted. He's taken a mark, came in from the side and chopped off the pass nicely. Just kicked the one solitary goal last week for Ringwood, James Katsiavos. That was a soccer kick from about a metre out in the goal square. And today he's got a chance to bounce back into some good form. He's had a fine season coming from the Bayswater Footy Club this year to Ringwood. Katsiavos.
Beautiful.
Kick looked good off the boot. Has he snuck it home? It drifted a fair way, but it is a goal. First goal on the board for Ringwood. They strike first blood, and the Redbacks lead by 5 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Just shows how dangerous James Katsiavos can be, particularly when the opposition have the ball and trying to take it out of their defence. In that situation, he worked really hard, made a contest, and was able to turn the ball over, mark, and go back and have a shot on goal. He's a really damaging forward, and someone that Heathmont are going to really have to watch as they try and run that ball out of their own defensive 50-metre arc.
Daniel Sensick, thanks to Choose Tap match stats.
Kicks 9-5 in favour of Ringwood.
So the ball back in the middle of the ground, as Brad Henderson said, at his first blood to the Redbacks. They lead it by 5 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We've gone 5 minutes in this first term. It'll be Baker versus Grinter. Grinter got that one down. Daniel kick off the ground that time by Burmeister. That was okay. Kicked it to the top half of the half-forward line, and I think it'll be a free kick to Farmer here. So he got down low. He certainly didn't take the mark, but the umpires rewarded him. So Trent Farmer had a hand in a couple of plays inside 50 early in this quarter for Ringwood. What a beautiful pass that was, and out on a good lead. Couldn't quite see who that was. Brad Henderson, you've got your eye on him down there. So Scott Lang, they've worked in tandem in the last 2 bits of play inside forward 50, and he'll have a shot for Ringwood's second goal. And what we'd say is that against the breeze kick into this end as well. So
yeah, I think that's what we heard from Andy. That
against the breeze, boys.
Yeah.
So Lang comes in, 30 metres out. He keeps it low. It goes to the top of the goal square, but fisted through for a minor result. So one behind goes on the board for Ringwood. They move on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard to 1-1-7. It's a 1 goal the difference, Peter Baird, at the 6-minute mark.
It is, and it's a really good start for Ringwood, working into that pretty stiff breeze as we heard from Andy Paolici out there. If they can open up a lead at quarter time, they'll be very, very happy with that.
Burns brings the ball back in. O'Driscoll was his target, but Grinter had front position. Couldn't take the mark. Sindri under pressure. Fed it out to Hickey. Tries to dodge and weave his way through some would-be tacklers. Got it to Shaw. Onto Darren Paul now. A bit of a floating kick from him. Taking possession was Lang, who has started this game really well. He gets it forward once more.
Katsiavos.
A lot of players over the footy. It spills loose. Came out that time to Davis. And Davis's kick has fallen short. It's been marked by Paul on the last line of defence. Sindri now for Heathmont. Nice kick to Clark. Kevin Clark on that driving left foot to Savory. Savory did really well to keep his feet in the contest. Quickly thumps it forward to Odermatt. And Odermatt had, I reckon, more time than he thought he did. And in the end, he's missed it off to the left. A minor score. Lee Odermatt missing a pretty golden opportunity, one you'd expect him to kick.
Yeah, it really shows the importance there. Steve Copeland from Ringwood overrunning the ball. In conditions like this where the ball's going to be on the ground a lot, you need to keep the ball in front of you and can't let it get behind you.
McCann kicked it in. Gill dropped the mark. Probably should have taken it, but he had time. And kicks it up towards the half-back line. Shaw passes on. Copeland takes it just inside the defensive 50 for the Redbacks. Kick goes up towards the wing position here. Out, speak of the devil, Lee Odermatt comes out and takes a good mark on the chest. And a wind around on that left boot and kick it up towards a true half centre half forward position. His intention was for Knudsen. The Redbacks are going to clear through Macklin. He got a copped one high. He's going to receive a free kick. So it actually went downfield in the end. So the umpire, good decision there. Moves it on. Kick was smothered. Still just inside the centre square. Heathmont half forward line. Who's going to come out with it here? Going in hard that time was Jack Gill. It scoops out now. The Jets through Odomat. Baker tried to get a toe poke on it. The umpire's going to come in and bounce this one, you would expect. So a hot footy across the half-forward line for Heathmont. They're yet to kick a goal. They probably should be already won. 5 points the difference on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Off the ground that time. That was good by Barling just to move the ball forward. Odomat on all hands and knees. Crowd screaming for a free kick. Charging through was Barling. He lost it in the 9 Jots jumper. Macklin charging through. The umpire's going to come in and restart this one again.
Boundary.
Let's cross down boundary side to Andy Paolici.
Guys, after good skills early in the game, you're starting to see a bit of a mud bath here with the two teams really scrapping for it hard.
Umpire to bounce it now, or throw it up. In fact, he's paying holding. It might be a free kick. It'll go the way of Brinter. So against Baker in his 250th game this afternoon for the Jets.
He started really well today, Ryan Grinter. He's dominated in those ruck clearances, getting the first use of the ball down to the Ringwood midfielders.
So Grinter had a player in the middle. That was Burmeister. Dropped what he probably should have taken him, and handballed it over the top to McCann, who was running well off the half-back line. Kick goes up towards that forward 50. In there was Hammer. Picked up there that time by Hill. Snapped it around the body inside forward 50.
Oh.
Who's going to come out and take a ripper mark here?
Katsiavos.
Comes out and, well, he's going to have his second shot on goal in the first 10 minutes of the game. And Katsiavos, you're nearly backing from here, Peter Baird, 40 metres out.
Oh, he's a fantastic kick for goal with those long sleeves and the white boots. Really stands out there, BWS. He'll go back. I reckon I'm going to back him in to kick this one against the breeze.
Well, just when Heathmont had been peppering over the last couple of minutes, Ringwood are making them pay, and they go inside 50. Well, they have to put this on the board first. He's already kicked one this afternoon. He's got a look of concentration on his face. He knows every kick on goal is an important one. He's kicked it across the face. And in fact, it's gone out of bounds, touched, and then hit the behind post. So we'll have a boundary throw in, forward pocket. It's down Ringwood's end, and 5 points of difference.
Yeah, pretty tight start between these two sides, as you would expect. But certainly James Katsiavos and Scott Lang looming large in the Ringwood forward line in the early stages of this first quarter. Uncontested from the ruck. Farmer paddled it down to King, off to Lang. Has he snuck it home around the corner? Yes, he has. Great start here for the Redbacks. Scott Lang kicks his first, and Ringwood lead by 11 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
That was really sloppy checking there from the Heathmont backman. No one went up in the ruck, and it gave Ringwood the opportunity just to palm it down into the path of Scott Lang. And he didn't let his teammates down because he snapped truly on that left boot, and he's put through the second now for the Redbacks.
Damien Sensic, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Damien. Hit out 7-1 in favour of Ringwood, and it really tells a story around the ground.
The dulcet tones of Daniel Sensic, thanks to Choose Tap on the stats this afternoon. The umpire bounces it again. Grinter, he's winning that one in the middle of the ground. Got the fist away. First to meet it was Clinton George, but he couldn't pick it up because Waddell was on his hammer. They broke the tackle and through the middle. Now the Redbacks charge up towards the half forward line. The kick around and the body wasn't too crash off, but the ball is still alive in there. Gill got down low. The umpire's going to pay another free kick.
Trent Farmer.
And again, Trent Farmer. So across that half-forward line, he's been getting the ball.
Just putting his body on the line, first in for the ball and putting his head over it. Players into the back. On wet conditions like this, you're always going to earn the free kick.
A touch closer than what he's been in his last few attempts, but the ball's still going to fall short. Right near the boundary line. Kick off the ground by Davis. Goes across the face and then scooted on through James Katsiavos. Beautiful play off the ground. He just looked like it was also casual. Booting his second and obviously Ringwood's third on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. They moved to 3 goals, 1-19. They've opened up a bit of a handy lead now, Peter Baird. The Jets are only 2 behind.
Certainly have. He's as sly and as cunning a forward as you'll see, the James Katsiavos. As the ball came off the back of the pack there, was just able to run into that open goal, kick the ball off the ground. Heathmont just have to tighten up on him. You can't give him 2 or 3 metres space because he will make you pay week in, week out.
67 goals now for season 2012 for James Katsiavos. As the ball's back in the middle, umpire tosses it up. Strong tackle was applied. Ball shoveled out now, Ringwood through Jones. Gave it to Macklin. Pretty heavy pressure through the middle though, Broadbent. Fed it out, looking for Burns. Was taken by King though. He shoveled it out to Vinnie Jones. Jones' kick going forward for Ringwood. Very close to the boundary line to Farmer, who's having a big first quarter on that outer side of the ground. Trent Farmer is on fire early after a really quiet game last week. Heathmont tried to clear the area. Himmerman was tackled. Ringwood holding the ball.
Heathmont wanted in the back as well. 50-51 right call by the umpire.
Umpire tosses it up now. It was Lang actually who went up in the ruck then, palmed it down. Farmer, clever little handball to Davis. Very high left foot kick by Luke Davis. Katsialvis was the target, but it was well marked in defence there for Heathmont by Savoury. Sverns it was, sorry. Sverns' kick to Hamer. Sweeping handball came from George. Out to Robson Long. And Dylan Robson Long's kick hugging the boundary then. In fact, it went over the boundary line on the fall. Bit of arguing going on over who should get the free kick.
I think it'll go to Gill.
This is really playing into the hands of Ringwood, really being able to push Heathmont out wide. Heathmont like to run the ball through their corridor, like to move that ball really quickly from one end of the ground to the other. They haven't been able to do that so far. Ringwood have done really well to choke that corridor and push Heathmont out really wide.
McCann takes the resulting free kick. Lang was the target. Heathmont try to send it straight back from where it came from. And again, the ball has gone out of bounds on the full. Free kick goes to the Redbacks, and once again it will be Anthony McCann, who is generally a lovely right foot kick, but on that occasion he just went to a big pack, went to a contest. Massive numbers around the footy here. Somehow Heathmont won it out through Ferns, got it to Timmerman. There is a high tackle, it will go to the Jets. It's Knudsen. Not his best effort with the kick. It was a shocker, in fact. Sorry, it's Kevin Clark, I should say. Now burrows the ball forward, and a free kick will go once more to the Jets. Let's try a third time. It was Himmerman, in fact, who now gives it to Sindri. Sindri's kick looking across the ground to O'Driscoll. Katsiavos takes a mark, then gives a don't argue. Dishes the kick off for Tui. Just carried over Zach Tui's head then and fisted towards the boundary line for a throw-in.
That's a couple of times now where Katsiavos has been able to cut off that loose kick coming out of the Heathmont defensive line. They just really need to tighten up their skills and make sure they hit that target.
So back into play once again. Goals really hard to come by. Lang went up in the ruck. Tui tries to get a handle on the ball. Nicely played then, though, by Broadbent as Heathmont come away. George got a high tackle. It was paid there against Vinnie Jones. Clinton George doesn't waste any time. Gets the ball forward to Sverns, or Odermatt. In fact, it was. Players come in from the side. And umpire very quick on the whistle on that occasion to call for a baller.
So Copeland comes in to take the ruck position for Ringwood. Looks like he's nearly going up unattended. Worked himself to the front spot. Got it down. Charging through there was Georgie. Started okay for the Jets, but it scoots out now. And the ball goes up towards a half-forward line for Heathmont. If who can get it, the umpire nearly could have paid a push in the back there to Barlin. Gill, just left alone with it in the end, was able to get up off the deck and get a handball away. His intention was for Nolan, but of course Clark comes across. In fact, it was George again. The umpire said he's been putting his body on the line enough to earn himself a free kick. So it'll go to George for Heathmont. Across the half-forward line, they're just not linking those passes, are they, Peter Baird, in this first term?
No, really sloppy disposal. They're struggling in the conditions a little bit. The ball must be a little bit slippery, but you need to hit your targets, particularly going forward and coming out of defence.
Well, Savoury and Odermatt have been in front on numerous occasions. The pass just hasn't met. They're over the back. Hammer got the knockdown. Ringwood are going to get the clearance, and the ball goes into the middle of the ground now. That was really handy because Luke Davis is off, and on a turn of foot kicks it up towards the half-forward line. The intention was Farmer right on his hammer. O'Driscoll's in there. They scooted out. That's okay. It comes out to Broadbent. He's going to switch the play or go for the safety of the boundary line, or in fact even create a foot race on the outer side of the ground. The ball goes off, kicked off the ground. Waddell's there for Ringwood. He's got to break a tackle, does so, short passes on. We can just tell these conditions are really tough for all players. Luke Jones, he needed a link, he got it from Waddell, he came in for the 1-2, got the handball over to Jones, had to double back, get himself into a lot of trouble, and the umpire's going to ping him holding the ball, so a good bit of pressure there by Heathmont.
Yeah, you've got to take the first option in that situation there, Vinnie Jones, dish it off, don't go back and double back and try and second guess yourself because you're only going to get caught in conditions like today.
17 and a half minutes gone in this first term. Heathmont haven't kicked a goal at 17 points the margin. Ringwood have got the first 3, went straight out of the arms of Gilly, nearly took a one-hander. Umpire's going to once again pay a free kick, so that it'll go to Robbie Savoury. Across the half-forward line, he's got to kick it to the hot spot. That's exactly where he goes now, over the back of everybody. They might even pay advantage here because Kev Clark was running onto it. The umpire's going to bring it back, and it'll be a free kick to Jono Knudsen from about 25 metres out from goal. And this is a really important kick for Heathmont. Yeah, I don't know what you guys thought about that, the free kick given there. I reckon it was a 50-51, bit of an iffy one, could have gone either way. But Jono Knudsen, he was in front, and that's what earned him the free kick. And that's what you've got to do in these conditions. Should go back and kick the goal.
Kicked 4 last week, BWS, so he's in a bit of handy goal kicking form.
Well, you would have thought Clark would have run onto an open goal, so Jono Knudsen from 30 metres out. It's an important kick, and he's pushed it to the right-hand side. It never looked good off the boot. That's Heathmont's 3rd behind for the afternoon. It's now a 16-point ball game in the first quarter. Bendigo Bank scoreboard, the Redbacks 3-1-19. Daniel Sensick, thanks to Choose Tap.
33 kicks at 22 Ringwood's favour, so Ringwood getting their hands on the ball a lot more.
So the ball to be brought back in here for Ringwood through McCann. Does a lot of the kicking duties for the Redbacks these days. He's had a good season at Ringwood this year. There's the ball fisted towards the boundary line. Plenty of pressure being applied there by Davis in the Channel 9 dots jumper. And in the end he was pretty happy, I think, to see the ball over the boundary line. That ball has spent a lot of time on that around that boundary there in the sort of around the half-forward area of Heathmont in this first quarter. Don't seem to be playing as direct as the Redbacks at the moment.
In danger.
There's a free kick for kicking in danger. It will go to the Jets. It's Darren Paul,
your man,
the veteran, expected to retire at the end of this season, so this could well be his final EFL game this afternoon, depending on the way the result pans out. Darren Paul, that awkward kicking style to full forward, looking for Savoury. Parsons there got a hand to it and forced the ball through for a minor score, which takes Heathmont on to 1-4-10. Ringwood a 3-1-19 at Bendigo Bank the scoreboard.
Well, they're going to waste no time with it either, Ringwood. Kick goes out into the forward pocket. It's marked there by Waddell. He wants to keep the ball moving out towards the wing position now. The Jets have got the numbers. Anthony Hickey, who's been relatively quiet in this first term, gets a handball off, and they're going to look to reload. Back through the middle of the ground. Kick inside forward 50 over the top of Barling's hands. Picked up by Clark. Snap around the body. That is a beautiful kick on the left foot by Cleb Clark. And that is the goal of the day contender already on the board. And Heathmont just in the nick of time as we approach time on. Kick there first on the board. Silky skills in wet conditions, Peter Baird.
Certainly was, and it was set up by quick ball movement again. They were able to turn that ball over on centre wing, send the ball back inside their forward 50-metre circle. And when you do that, when the ball's brought to ground by your big forwards, and you've got small players with the class of Kevin Clark running onto it, he was just threw the ball onto his right boot off the front of the pack, roved it beautifully, was front and square. First goal for Heathmont there on the board, and that'll be a bit of a relief for Steve Buckle.
He does that well, Kevin Clark. He is an excitement machine, and most weeks he'll kick a goal that will get the crowd really on their feet, and certainly that goal was classy, and nice celebration after it as well. A 9-point lead now for Ringwood. Sorry, back to 3 points now. The margin. Davis handball to Burmeister. Quick kick by Waddell into the path of Michael King. It's on the wing on the outer side. Pretty well played for Ringwood. Ball comes forward, but nicely getting back to take the mark was Sheriff.
Ben Waterworth around the grounds this afternoon.
Baroni have got off to a great start. 6-1-37 to Chirnside Park, 1 behind at quarter time.
Short pass by Sheriff. Wasn't a great one. Jones got it from King. Handball was shot out there to East Stick, right to the square, but no, the Jets will clear. Will Villani. Back pedals with the handball. Out of defence, the kick was not a good one. Came out from Barling. Got it to Odermack. Bursts his way through. Tumbles the kick to the wing position. Sindri the target. Took possession, but it was nicely intercepted by Pat Burmeister, who tries to share it with Gill. Sindri did a great job then in a 2-on-1 situation. Ringwood still will win the footy out though through Gill. And there will be a free kick, and it will go to Jack Gill because he got a... I thought the umpire was gesturing for a free. In fact, it is play on. Some of the players stopped. Quick kick comes around the corner to Odermatt. And there's plenty of waving of arms and gesticulating going on, but in the end, the upshot is Heathmont have the free kick to be taken true wing position. So the Jets
would have thought advantage paid would have been fair there.
Yeah, through Horden. Lovely pass. Hits Burns on the chest. Stephen Burns wheels around. Honours a great lead there by Savoury, who gave Gill the slip. And Rob Savoury, who's a very damaging left foot kick when coming out of defence. We'll see how he goes when presented with a chance at goal from a set shot. He's a left footer, so he's on the preferred side for a lefty. In the very distinctive bright yellow boots. He's had a fine season, as we heard. A bit of a breakout season for Rob Savoury this year. That's a terrible kick, though, and it's been well chopped off there by Ryan Grinter, who will clear out of defence for the Redbacks as they dodge a bullet.
Well, he does a really short pass and he finds Davis, who's been lively early in this first term for Ringwood. His kick goes up towards the wing position. Had to have the front spot was Tim Burmeister. That's how you play front and centre, and wants to move the ball up quickly. Kicked up to Farmer. Right on his hammer was Jake Sheriff. You ain't going nowhere when the Sheriff's on your tail, and we're going to have a ball up. True centre wing position right in front of the member stand here. There's a very big crowd out here. Right in front of our boundary riders. Trent Farmer came right over the top. He knocked it down. Todd Nolan banged it on the boot and kicked it up towards the half-forward line. It's got a fans favourably for the Redbacks, but Kieran O'Driscoll had the poise and the measure to kick it across the face of goals, which was okay because Darren Paul, the veteran, was in there. Kicked it into the middle of the ground. His intention there was George, but the Redbacks had two players there, and they've chopped it off. Kick goes inside forward 50. Who's going to get down? Robson's long, tries to hold the ball in. Got it out wide. Shaw, the captain, tried to keep the ball moving. That was okay. Clinton George. Now Clark on the left boot. As the siren goes in the first term, only a very short quarter out here at H.E. Parker Reserve. We had an early start and we're looking for an early finish, but that's okay because Ben Waterworth will be around the grounds all afternoon, keeping us up to date with live ladders and everything that's happening as you go local for your football. Pretty low scoring first term out here at Heathmont. It's the away side, Ringwood leading it at quarter time, 3-1-19 to Heathmont 1-4-10. It's going to be a close game all afternoon. The weather isn't too crash hot, but get down here. It's a great day as you go local for your football. We'll be back with Ben Waterworth and all those scores that we want to hear right here on EFL Game Day.
Get your Wednesday off to a great start with the Wednesday Breakfast Show on Radio Eastern 98.1. A bright and breezy session featuring mostly hits of the 60s.
Hello.
Along with today's birthdays, events on this day, and of course news, sport and weather on the hour. So join me, Janet Cook, every Wednesday morning from 7 till 9 on Radio Eastern 98.1.
Radio Eastern 98.1 is going up to 27 to 3. This is Barry Gunther back here in the studio on EFL Game Day, and we'll return to the Heathmont-Ringwood game out there at H.E. Parker Reserve in just a moment. But it's time to check some AFL scores. A couple of games been played this afternoon, and the game being played at the MCG is between Essendon and Carlton. And first quarter, Carlton were 5-3-33, leading Essendon 2-5-17. And they're in fact 11 mark at the second quarter, and it's Carlton 8-4-52 to Essendon 4-5-29. Major goal kickers for Carlton, Waite has 2, one each to Garth and Simpson. And for Essendon, Cremery and Watson had one each. And the other game he played this afternoon is up there at Manuka Oval in Canberra between GWS and Melbourne. It's 17 minute mark for the first quarter, and it's GWS 2-2-14 leading Melbourne 1-8. Goal kickers for GWS Edwards and Oscar Elliott has one as well, and for Melbourne Seller has one. Now, do you have sudden fever, aching body, sore throat, chills, nausea, headache and dizziness? It sounds like you need medical assistance urgently. It's difficult getting an immediate appointment with your GP when you need care fast. So come to Akira Urgent Care where you don't need an appointment and you won't have to wait. They're Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Runyon. You can phone them on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care. Your health, your destiny.
In desperate need of some windows but your budget's too tight? Never fear, because the team at TMB Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give us a call, 8727 7506. That's 8727 7506. TMB Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name. Part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. #1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
In footy, the best players always get tagged. In Melbourne, the best and cheapest way to get around the tollways is to get your car tagged. That's because a Breeze account works on Eastlink and it works on CityLink too. A tag's also the cheapest way to use Eastlink and CityLink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au and start winning as a tagger today. Speaking of winning, my team's a sure thing for 4 points today and maybe the premiership. Come on up, that was in the back. Eastlink. It's time better spent, like at the footy.
Program sponsor.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Half-time here on our EFL Game Day broadcast for the day. It's a good start for the Ringwood Football Club. They lead 3-1-19 to Heathmont 1-4-10. But it is all happening around the grounds, around the Eastern Football League today. And let's start with the important game between the Basin and South Belgrave, and at the moment it's the Basin 3-4-22 leading South Belgrave 4 behind. So a great start there for the Bears, trying to establish themselves as the best team in Division 4. In other Division 3 games, North Ringwood 2-3-15 leading Wantirna South 2-1-13. EFL Development Manager Mark Freeman saying that they are playing in a slop at the moment. As I said before, Baronia 6-1-37 leading Chernside Park 1 behind, and Templestowe off to a great start 4-2-26 leading Mitcham 1-1-7. In Division 2, Peter Baird and Doncaster will like this one. Roval 5-7-37 leading Mulgrave yet to score, and Montrose 3-6-24 leading Upper Gully 2 straight 12. So plenty of great scores around the Eastern Football League at the moment. And we'll bring you up to date as more scores come to hand, BWS.
Oh, thank you very much to Ben Waterworth. Well, it's a big afternoon for a lot of supporters out there because there's so many results that could go different ways. Let's go down boundary side because at quarter time, Andy Paolici, he headed out there doing it solo this afternoon thanks to Akira Urgent Care. Andy.
Guys, yeah, I was in the Heathmont room there, and I was just seeing what Steve Buckle had to say. Basically, he was saying, guys, you're over-finessing, and that's why Ringwood got off to such a great lead. You know, pointless to pick out that short passes unless it's absolutely safe. He urged his players to run and carry all opportunities, get that ball moving, and keep the space open for the forward line.
Thank you very much to Andy down boundary side. We're just about to get underway here in our second quarter. Our second boundary rider has arrived for the afternoon, Braden Ingram. His 10 minutes is obviously like my sister's because he's 40 minutes late as Brad Henderson takes us away second term.
Thanks very much, BWS. Thanks very much as the second quarter does get underway. And Heathmont, a pretty slow start, of course, at quarter time. They just had one goal in that first quarter. So they'll be looking to play a lot better in the second term as the players go crashing through the mud. It's very heavy in that centre wicket area, as you'd expect, given all the rain today. Steve Shaw has the free kick. Looks like we've switched to a yellow football for the second quarter.
Smart.
Understandably, yeah. Wise decision. And the free kick will go to the Redbacks. Driving kick there by McCann. Was fisted away though. On that outer side, Ringwood tried to send it forward. And somehow, it was Vinnie Jones that time. Somehow that boundary line, I tell you what, they're getting a great day's entertainment in the scoreboard over there because it seems like the
they
play
certainly are.
has all been.
I was actually getting excited in the reserves game today because they really did use this side of the ground for the whole game. So it's surprising that they've switched that outer side. So
back into play now. Boundary throw in. Farmer went up in the ruck. Did some good work in the ruck in that first quarter in the forward line. Shaw gave it out to Hickey, who's been relatively quiet so far. Strong tackle there by Hickey on Farmer. And the ball
free kick.
Yeah, it is a free kick to Ringwood. Mark dropped there. Davis fed out the handball. Tackle was applied by Paul. Did he concede a free kick? No, the umpire said. Jones dishes off a little handball. Paul comes in from the side once more. Puts a tackle on. It's very heavy going. Nice work then by Steve Shaw. Got a quick kick out of the pack. Socket off the ground and over the boundary line in the end. And that wasn't a passage of play of football for the ages.
More quarter time scores, Ben Waterworth.
Peter Baird, Canterbury 6-5-41, leading Surrey Park 3-2-20, so 21 points the margin there, and Nunawading by 21 points at quarter time.
So big Daniel Baker in his milestone game goes up in the ruck against Grinter. He won the tap that time and now goes to ground, tries to take possession. There's a Heathmont player hurt there, Clinton George it is, who's very slow to get up. And he's on his feet now as a ball up results. Umpire tosses it up. Baker wins the tap once more. Was taken by Jones for Ringwood to Waddell. George for Heathmont. Burrows in. Finds the footy. It was Hickey, in fact. And Anthony Hickey's handball went to the boundary line.
Daniel Sensick, thanks to Choose Tap, those important first quarter stats.
18 handballs to 22 in Heathmont's favour and 41 kicks to 35 in Ringwood's favour.
Quick kick came out of the pack and straight away goes over the boundary line once more.
Interesting results in Division 2. Donvale by 3 points over Moorabak and the Waverley Blues by 13 points over Bayswater.
We'll be keeping a very close eye all afternoon on those results as Baker goes up in the ruck. He's doing a good job at the moment. The veteran in his is it 250th game? Is that the milestone today for Daniel Baker? Umpire tosses it up. Grinter this time wins the tap. Little quick kick around the corner from Jones, but it was chopped off by Himmerman. Certainly didn't travel the required distance, so he was forced to give it to Sverns. Out to Shaw. A lot of little quick handballs in close quarters. Finished up in the hands of Baker. Ringwood, though, win the footy back. Quick kick around the corner by Tim Burmeister. Ball on the deck once more. Baker tries to crash his way through. Did pretty well in the end. Now they surge forward, the Jets. Mark was almost held there by Macklin. He just lost his footing at the critical moment in the mud. And as a result, couldn't quite drag in the mark. It'll be a ball up. And it's been a very low scoring start to this second quarter where Heathmont are still 1 goal for. Ringwood 3-1-19. No change in the first 4.5 minutes of the second quarter, BWS.
Well, the ball's in the mud patch in the middle of the ground. It's scooped out towards Waddell, who banged it on his boot and kicked it up towards the half-forward line. Farmer's got a beat 2. Kick off the ground by Dylan Sperns. He only wanted the boundary. He ended up kicking it out of bounds on the full. So a little bit silly play when it was a 2-on-1 situation for the Jets. Now Ringwood drive the ball inside forward 50. The intention was for Lang. He beat his opponent and he waltzes into an open goal. And that is beautiful play there by Ringwood. Where the footy at its best as Lang kicks his second for the afternoon. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, Ringwood moved to 4 goals, 125. We've got a handy 15-point lead now. Heathmont are 1-4-11. Brad Henderson.
Scott Lang's second goal.
Yes, I did mention that it was his second goal as we crossed down boundary side for the first time this afternoon to our, of course, media team member, Braden Ingram. G'day, Braden.
G'day, BWS. Apologies for the lateness. The last game went very late, and this game seems to have started early. But just in terms of the wind, it's holding up a lot for Heathmont down here. It is a bit swirly, but when Heathmont try and go forward, it's certainly holding up, and they're certainly going to have to adapt to that throughout this second term.
Back in the middle once again. Scott Lang's been on fire in this game so far. And what a performance he's turned in such a crucial match as Shaw drives it forward for Heathmont. The captain setting the example for the Jets. And great clearance there, finding Savoury on, again, a long lead. And Rob Savoury's work in terms of leading towards the footy today has been really good. Hasn't quite finished off with his kicking when he's had opportunities. See what he can do this time. Again, it's a disappointing kick. Certainly doesn't trouble the scorers. And didn't go anywhere near the goals in the end. Strong tackle applied by Knudsen. On hands and knees, massive pack of players. It's like a rugby scrum at the moment over the footy. And the umpire will ball it up. Go boundary side shortly. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care as the umpire tosses it up. Little soccer kick off the ground. The rain is starting to fall, and it's falling pretty heavy. Conditions worsening. Ringwood try to clear out of defence. Now they get a bit of clearance through Jones. The ball hugging the boundary, and the player there, Dylan Robson-Long, takes it to the boundary. And speaking of the boundary line, let's cross boundary side thanks to Akira.
Yeah, guys, it's Andy here. You read my mind. It is starting to rain out here. Not too heavy, but you know, the crowd is taking cover.
Well, let's hope it doesn't get too much worse as Barling took possession. It was all wrapped up. Little quick kick by Luke Jones. Does the ball stay in play? Yes, it does. Great pick up by Hickey. Belied the wet weather conditions on that occasion. Anthony Hickey tumbles the ball forward. Dumped around the corner. It's deep into the forward line. Now Knudsen tries to take possession. Socked off the ground by Clark. Oh, here's a goal. Oh. He's stuck at home. Kevin Clark has kicked his second, and gee, kicked some amazing goals, and that was no exception. Great soccer goal by little Kevy Clark for the Heathmont Footy Club.
Roberto Baggio would be proud of that one, BWS.
He misses.
If he wasn't already a contender for the goal, Powerade goal of the day with his snap around the corner in the first quarter, I reckon he's signed it up with that one. Fantastic play there, and really just showing the desperation and intensity he's lifted from Heathmont this quarter. They're a lot harder at the contest, and they're really working hard to lock that ball inside their forward 50 when they get it down there.
Well, it's only 9 points the margin here in the second quarter. Ben Waterworth, any more scores around the ground?
Yeah, plenty. Full lot in Division 3. Templestowe by 19 points over Mitcham. Ringwood by 9 over Heathmont. Glen Waverley Hawks by 41 over Coldstream. Baronia by 36 over Churnside Park North. Ringwood by 2 over Wanturna South. And Warrandyte by 9 over the Whitehorse Pioneers.
Well, the ball's back in the middle here, and Ringwood just trying to squeeze their way forward. The free kick goes to Sam Reeves. Kicks it across the half-forward line. They got players all by themselves here. The pot shot on goals, and what an answer that is by the Ringwood Football Club. Great kick by Luke Jones just inside the forward 50. And just when you thought Heathmont might have got a little bit of a roll on, Ringwood answer right back. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, they move to 5 goals, 131. Heathmont are 2 goals, 416. It's crossed down boundary side to Braden Ingram thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Speed up, game's starting to hot up. A bit of a fracas down in the Heathmont forward pocket. So the umpire just there keeping both teams, but we might see.
Just cutting out there, Braden. Peter Baird, that was a terrific answer by the Redbacks.
It certainly was, but some loose checking by the Heathmont defenders as well to let Luke Jones get loose and get free. He was able to be found by that pass going forward, and they've made Heathmont pay.
Back in the middle once again. Rain is getting heavier. That was a great quick reply there from Ringwood through Luke Jones. As a massive pack forms once again over the ball. Michael King there appealing for holding the ball.
Any more scores, Ben?
Yeah, heaps coming through at the moment. South Croydon by 12 over Scoresby. Baldwin by 33 over Croydon. Knox by 29 over Blackburn. Norwood by 7 over East Ringwood. Not surprisingly, Norwood kicked the only goal for the term. And Vermont by 40 over Lilydale.
Luke Jones on hands and knees just trying to work his way through the traffic, but he was going nowhere. And Grinter this time wins the tap down. Sindri, was he held without it? Umpire said no. Ball was fed out there by King. Robson Long tries to strip Davis of the footy at the moment. It's really just the ball's barely travelled 10 metres in the last minute or so. Umpire tosses it up. Grinter wins it down. George puts his body over it. Nobody really went to tackle him initially. Now they do so. Umpire lets them play for a long time. Jones is the player there who is sitting over the football. And a lot of players at the moment are around the ball, and they're not all that interested in getting too involved. They're sort of waiting for the quick handball to come out, and it's not really happening. But now a free kick has been paid to Baker. Baker's kick looking for Hickey. Finds him now. Weaves past Reeves on that occasion. Hickey's long kick was a good one. Odom at the target. Barling was there as well, but Ringwood managed to intercept it. Well played there by Waddell. Somehow tumbles the kick forward into open space. Odomat, high kick around the corner. Might have been Swoons, in fact. Gill takes possession. He's discarded the long sleeves that he had in the first quarter. Jack Gill's long kick. Again, hugging that boundary on the outer side of H.E. Parker Reserve. And Spoons takes the ball over the boundary line, and at this stage it is a 15-point lead to Ringwood, 5-1-31. Heathmont 2-4-16. Just Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Just some scores in Division 4. Canterbury by 21 points over Surrey Park. Ferntree Gully by 1 over Forest Hill. The Basin by 18 over South Belgrave. Sylvan by 21 over Kilsyth. And 21 points, Nunna Warnings lead over Eastern Lions.
Thanks, Ben. Sheriff's got it across the half-back line for Heathmont. Kick went in from Ringwood. Goes out towards the wing position again. A little bit of kick-to-kick happening. Last minute of play. Ringwood, they got players in the middle. The dummy was sold and the kick goes inside forward 50 over the back of the pack. The first one to meet it was O'Driscoll on hands and knees. Scooped on and pressure by Katsiavos to get it out. Kick off the ground. This is a super play. Zach Tui off the ground from absolutely nowhere. In fact, it was Vinnie Jones, and that is a great goal there by Jones. That's his second on the board, and of course Ringwood now kicked their 6th goal on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 6-1-37. They're putting them through straight to bed. Heathmont 2-4-16.
Just goes to show there, Vinnie Jones can say to Kevin Clark, anything you can do, I can do better. Really answering that call with a fantastic soccer goal himself. Ringwood, they just work so hard, they just push the ball forward at all costs, in and under the packs, and they're just feeding the ball out and working hard, really playing great wet weather football at the moment.
Yeah, that was a classic wet weather goal when it's all you can do, just kick it off the ground, and that's what Vinnie Jones did. So the former Warrandyte goal sneak getting a crucial goal here for Ringwood. Conditions very difficult at the moment for both sides. Ringwood though surged forward. Sheriff had front position against Lang on that occasion, did well. Ball was shot out by a hand. It was a free kick. It will go to
high on Clark.
It will go to thank you. It will go to the Jets. It is to Kevin Clark, the high tackle. And Kevin Clark just sells himself into a little bit of danger. Had the presence of mind though. Got it to Sindri. He's kicked to the outer side of H.E. Parker Reserve. And it's been fisted towards the boundary line. And it's fair to say, Frosty, Heathmont are not using the corridor today like I thought they would. I understand the centre wicket area. You wouldn't want to go through that. But this use of the boundary line by Heathmont seems to be resulting in a lot of stoppages on that outer side, but not much free-flowing play for the Jets so far today. It's a real trademark of the Ringwood game. They like to get players free through that centre corridor and push teams out wide so they can't run the ball through it. I said it pre-game. It's coming to the fore now, and as I said, it's a real hallmark of the way Ringwood like to play their foot in. Something that's been built around playing on those wide open spaces out of Jubilee Park where teams can get lost out on those wings and flanks. Well, Lang went against Sheriff in the ruck, and Lang won the tap down. Bit of a height mismatch on that occasion. Tui stripped to the footy there by Broadbent.
Just coughed it up.
And the umpire said, yeah, correct disposal. Now, what's the decision there? I heard
play
the whistle.
On and caught.
Umpire called play on. And Broadbent there, was he awarded the free kick and then elected to play on? Sold himself into some trouble.
More scores, Ben?
In Division 2, the Doncaster East game is running late. Apparently an injury to a Doncaster player. We'll follow that one up. But Donvale by 3 points over Moora Park. Roeville by 37 over Mulgrave. 12 points Montrose over Upper Gully. And Waverley Blues 13 over Bayswater. Well, James Katsiavos went for another little socket goal off the ground. But on this occasion, he threw the hands to the heads because he was off target. And a minor score there for Katsiavos. He's got 2 goals, 1 today. And Ringwood now 2 goals, 4, trail Heathmont 6-2.
Well, Clark kept it to Robson long, and the Jets are away on the kick-in, but it was only as far as Farmer across the half-forward line, gets it inside Katsiavos. Look how clever this guy is. Swings around on the right boot. He can't bring it back enough. They wanted to play for it. They wanted to convince the umpire, but he didn't want to have a bar of it. Push it to the right-hand side, and a minor score is the result. It's their 4th behind now on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. They moved to 6 goals, 4-40. Handy lead for 25 points against the Jets now, Pete. Oh, it's probably equivalent of a 6 or 7 goal lead on a dry day, but they're just playing much better football, much cleaner with their use of the ball so far, Ringwood. Well, Kevin Clark doing it all for the Jets at the moment with the kick in. He found Robson long, and now it's with Stephen Burns. Up and under kick by Burns to a big pack. A lot of players over the footy. Strong tackle applied there by Hill. And it was tackle there was by McCann, in fact. So the umpire to ball it up. Rain seems to have stopped for the moment.
Tui put his body over it. Farmer, who been impressed with his game today, had a really quiet one last week against the Glen Waverley Hawks, and I guess needed to bounce back after that performance, but he's had a fine first half. Trent Farmer has been involved in a lot of footy. There's the kick forward by Jones, tumbles forward. Sverns had front position. Katsiavos outpoints him. Played for the free. No, he goes after it once again. Had King in support. And somehow Sheriff managed to just put himself between Katsiavos and the ball. Force the ball up. Some nervous moments there for the Heathmont defence. At the moment, James Katsiavos just looks like he could make something out of nothing. And he's looming very dangerously at the moment as Eastick gets boot to ball. Great mark taken in the forward pocket for the Redbacks, and the mark held there by Lang, who, like Trent Farmer, he's also had a terrific first half. Scott Lang, he'll be tested by this kick. He's on a very difficult angle. Goes with the left foot, check side, and is off target. Probably the low percentage option on that occasion there from Scott Lang. And in the end, a minus score. So Ringwood peppering the scoreboard at the moment. They're 6 goals, 3-39. Heathmont 2-4-16. Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
As I said beforehand, Noel McPhee doing a live ladder for us in Division 3. So at the moment, it's North Ringwood on top with the Glen Waverley Hawks second, Boronia third, and Ringwood and Templestowe in fourth and fifth positions. That's at quarter time.
Heathmont are charging through the middle of the ground. Sindri tried to take too much on and he got crunched in a tackle. Good bit of play there by Vinnie Jones to run him down. So the Redbacks in the middle of the ground. They'll look to reload. The leads are coming up from Lang now. The kick goes in that direction, but the ball fell short. Across the half-forward line on hands and knees was Michael King trying to scoop the ball out. He might just get it now. Got the handball out wide. It's a hot footy, isn't it? There's about 12 players surrounding this pill, and we'll have a ball up 50 metres out from goal. Daniel Sensick, thanks to Choose Tab.
28 hit out so far to Heathmont's 8, so Ringwood dominating the rucks there.
55 metres out from the Ringwood goals. More scores, Ben.
In Division 1, South Croydon by 12 over Scoresby, Baldwin by 33 over Croydon, Knox by 29 over Blackburn, East Burwood by 2 over Noble Park, Norwood by 7 over East Ringwood, and Vermont by 40 over Lilydale.
Ball goes deep inside the Ringwood forward 50 and fisted through for a minus score by Dylan Svern. So they're feeling the pressure, the Heathmont backs, currently trailing it.
They certainly are, and I reckon it's nearly time for Steve Buckle to pull the trigger and try and do something different. The Ringwood big forwards up there, they've got Katsiavos and Farmer and Lang. They're really cutting them apart at the moment, so maybe a move, something like an Ogun at centre half back is what I'd be considering.
Clark went with the 1-2 with Stephen Burns and then tried the same trick with Jake Sheriff. Didn't quite come off though. But certainly Kevin Clark trying to involve himself in the game. He's already kicked 2 goals today. At the moment he's basically playing sort of a general role in defence as far as trying to set up play for the Jets. King sharked it nicely out of the ruck contest to Lang, who showed great clean hands to Davis. And Luke Davis races in and kicks a crucial goal for the Redbacks. That stretches the lead out to a very handy 31 points.
They're just going from strength to strength at the moment, Ringwood. This game's being played on their terms. They're not letting Heathmont play the style of footy that they like to, and we really need to see. We spoke about it pre-game. Have Heathmont got that plan B? Because they really need to start to switch to it as we speak.
In Division 4, Canterbury by 21 over Surrey Park, Ferntree Gully Eagles by 1 over Forest Hill, the Basin and the Clash the Titans, 18 points in front of South Belgrave, Sylvan by 21 over Kilsyth, and Nunawading by 21 over the Eastern Lions. In Division 2, apparently that player's still injured at Doncaster and Doncaster East, so no score there yet. Donvale by 3 points over Moorabuk, Roval by 37 over Mulgrave, Montrose by 12 over Upper Gully, and the Waverley Blues by 13 over Bayswater.
Well, Grinter's going up against Hammer, and Grinter won it easily. The ball quickly hit the deck, going down. Winning a free kick was the captain, Steve Shaw. So he needs to keep a cool head, move the ball on. Kick up towards the half-forward line. Was intended for Sindri. He's going to be the first one to meet it after the fist away by Greg. The boundary line's going to beat both those players, and we'll have a boundary throw-in half-forward line for Heathmont. 21.5 minutes gone here in the second term. A very handy 32-point lead to the Ringwood Football Club. Only 7-5-47. Heathmont 2-4-16. Pretty quiet in the stands. Past Players Day. It's all happening out here at H.E. Parker Reserve. A lot of support behind the home side today. They just need a bit of a lift. Ball still in that middle, wet patch of the ground. The kick goes, well, straight up and under. The intention there was for King. Hits the deck now. Heathmont, they're going to have the numbers. Quickly scooped up there by Broadbent. He tried to take too much on though. Got the handball over eventually though to Hammer. He tried to move it away to Clark. He's got 2 to beat. Ringwood now. Tried to seal the dummy was Vinnie Jones. He did well. Banged it on the left boot. Kicked it up towards the half-forward line. He might get near the boundary line here. Can Sheriff keep it in? He tried to paddle it to his advantage, but he paddled it to Farmer's advantage. This guy's an absolute star for Ringwood. Got the handball back to King, who kicked it inside forward 50 or thereabouts. Scooped up there by Luke Jones. He might go to the Katsiavos direction. His kick was brilliantly smothered there. So the Heathmont back standing up at the last line of defence. The ball scooped out. Picked up there by Davis. He kicked a ripper goal only moments ago. Goes to the Farmer direction and he stands tall. Good jukes and takes a mark just to the top of the goal square, and he's going to put through Ringwood's 8th goal, and this game's over.
I don't know about that. Heathmont need to do something in a big hurry, or else it will be at half-time, Ben Warren Smith. They need to try and shut down the influence Trent Farmer's having at the moment, because he's just beating them in the air, and at ground level he's getting creative as well.
So Farmer comes in from point blank range, bangs it over the goal umpire's head. Terrific bit of play there. That's his first for the afternoon. He wanted to get amongst it. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, well, Ringwood are running away with it, aren't they? 8 goals, 5-53 now, 2-4-16 is the Heathmont Football Club. Let's go down to Braden Ingram, who's on boundary side, or it might even be Andy, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Yeah, guys, it is Andy. Guys, the conditions are getting pretty hectic down there. The rain's just picked up a little bit, and the breeze is pushing wide as well. Basically, Ringwood's first quarter has really put them in a great position here going into half-time.
Well, how good a mark was that by Trent Farmer in a pack of 3? It was a 1-grab mark. Fantastic in the conditions. And he has lit it up today, Trent Farmer. That is goal number 47 of the season for him. So you may well see him bring up the half-ton today. He's got 3 more to go for that milestone as the ball comes out of the middle. Kick forward. It was Himmerman who got to it first. Had Robson Long in support. Sheriff arrives on the scene as well. And Heathmont are hustling quite well in these contested ball situations, but Ringwood just seem to be able to just play cleaner footy in the conditions when they've got possession. When they get a bit of a break, Ringwood, some of their players really belied the weather. We've seen it from Katsiavos, we've seen it from Scott Lang and Trent Farmer.
Luke Davis.
They've just been so clean. And that has really stood out. Burns goes very short. Meanwhile, there's a lot of Jets who I reckon would go in at half-time feeling like they've had a pretty quiet afternoon. Anthony Hickey probably the one who stands out the most. He hasn't really had any impact on the game. Yeah, Will Villani's been quiet for sure. And there's been a fair few teammates in there as well. Sheriff gets to the footy first. Backpedaled to O'Driscoll, who was stripped of the footy. Sheriff forced to go in once again and taken over the boundary line there.
Couple of half-time scores already. Baroni just take their foot off the pedal a little bit. So Baroni are only up by 21 points over Churnside Park, and Roval have extended their lead to 36 points. It
was actually Burns who won the ruck, out of the ruck that time. King, little handball, didn't travel too far. Strong tackle applied there on the deck by Burns. And the ball to be thrown up once again. And tell you what, Heath, the H.E. Parker, it can be a pretty loud place, pretty raucous when the Jets are playing well, but it's very quiet at the moment, very serene just at this stage. And we have seen this with Heathmont on a few occasions this year where they can be restricted to really low scores. For a team who's got so many dangerous forwards, when they have a quiet day, it can be really quiet. There's the kick to centre half forward position. Free kick will go to the Jets. It's with Paul. Doesn't waste any time. Finds a target in Odermatt. And Lee Odermatt, who has been fairly quiet also in this first half, has a chance to go back and kick his first of the day.
In all fairness to Lee Odermatt, though, I don't think it's his fault that he's had a quiet though. The ball hasn't just been able to get work down there to him, and when he has been down there, he's had an influence. So I think Steve Buckle really needs to try and get him involved in the play, whether it's a move to centre half-back or even to the midfield. He's one of their stars, and he can get them up and about in the second half.
Certainly agree with that. Get him in the action. What's he done? Gee, that's you wouldn't read about that. It's hard to describe on radio. I'll endeavour to do so in a moment as the ball comes out to Paul, slides in to take a mark, does so very well and goes short now to Barling in the Channel 9 dots jumper. Not quite as distinctive as the haircut though, I don't think. Hickey takes possession, but it will come back and Ringwood will look to clear through Jones. He's had a fine game today, Luke Jones. In fact, both the Jones boys have been in fine form today, as have the Ringwood team, who go into the halftime break with a 37-point lead on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It is Ringwood 8 goals, 5-53. Heathmont 2 goals, 4-16 in this all-important sudden death round 18 EFL Division 3 match.
Ringwood putting their hand up early in this clash at H.E. Parker Reserve to play finals in 2012. We're going to cross back to the studio and come back with all the around the ground scores as you go local for your football right here on EFL Game Day.
This is Everett Hargraves inviting you to join me for a relaxing interlude every Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock for the Thursday Drive program. Each week I highlight the work of a different songwriter, play some easy listening music, jazz, the songs of Broadway and the sounds of the 60s. We also get to share what's happening in our community. So come on, tune into Radio Eastern 98.1 FM between 4 and 6 o'clock each Thursday for the Thursday Drive program with me, Everett Hargraves. A great way to wind down after a busy day.
We'll get back there very shortly, but it's just time to check some AFL scores. And firstly at the MCG this afternoon, and the game's being played between Essendon and Carlton. And at half time, the big lead to Carlton 15-4, 94, lead Essendon 6-6, 42. Major goal kickers for Carlton, Jared Waite has 3, and 2 each to Garlett and also Casbolt. And for Essendon, Cremery has 2, Hurley, and also Lonergan has 1 each. The other game is up there at Manuka Oval between GWS and Melbourne, and it's currently halfway through the second quarter, and it's GWS 4-3-27 leading Melbourne 3-4-22. For Greater Western Sydney, major goal kickers Edwards, Green and Hoskin have 1 each, and for Melbourne, Green, Howe and Rivers have 1 each. So there you go. Now, what do you do when you have a medical emergency? Public emergency departments do a great job, but are always busy and often have long waiting times. Private hospitals charge you $280 more for additional services. But at Care Urgent Care, there is no waiting and will only pay a maximum of $150 out of pocket, which includes other diagnostic services you may need. So which option should you choose? Well, why not? Care Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Boronia, and phone them on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. At Care Urgent Care, your health, your destiny.
In desperate need of some windows but your budget's too tight? Never fear, because the team at T&B Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give us a call, 8727 7506. That's 8727 7506. T&B Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name, part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. Number 1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
In footy, the best players always get tagged. In Melbourne, the best and cheapest way to get around the tollways is to get your car tagged. That's because a Breeze account works on Eastlink and it works on CityLink too. A tag's also the cheapest way to use Eastlink and CityLink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au and start winning as a tagger today. Speaking of winning, my team's a sure thing for 4 points today and maybe the premiership. Come on up, that was in the Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy. Program sponsor. EFL Saturday Game Day continues.
Lonergan's got a goal.
Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Half-time here at H.E. Parker Reserve, and it is Ringwood Redbacks who are killing it at the moment. They're doing a fantastic job of it. They've really come to play, and they realise the importance and the significance of this game. At half-time, it is Ringwood 8-5-53 leading Heathmont 2-4-16. It's the Redbacks by 7 goals at 6 goals, at 37 points at half-time. A few other scores around the Eastern Football League. I'll go through them for you now. Doncaster will like this score. Rowville 6-7-43 leading Mulgrave 1-1-7. Just on that Doncaster and Doncaster East game, I did get a text through saying that Doncaster game was quite delayed, but unfortunately a player has gone down with an injury there. So I'll keep you up to date as much as I can on that front. Upper Ferntree Gully 2-2-14 trailing Montrose 6-7-43. In other Division 3 scores, Templestowe 4-3-27, leading Mitcham 1-5-11. Chirnside Park 2-5-17, trailing Baronia 6-2-38. North Ringwood 4-4-28, only lead Wantirna South by 3 points, 4-1-25. In the battle of the Division 4 big boys, it is all tied up. The Basin 3-4-22 to South Belgrave 3-4-22. Someone tell me the last time the Basin were held scoreless for an entire quarter. Well, that's what South Belgrave have been able to achieve. And in the other big match in Division 4, Canterbury are 8-8-56, leading Surrey Park 4-5-29. So certainly still within reach, but it's going to be hard for the Panthers. Whether they have the motivation to get there is another question. 27 points is the margin. Another Division 4 score, it is Forest Hill 2-3-15, trailing Ferntree Gully 2-6-18. So a 3-point margin there in favour of Ferntree Gully. So I'll just run through the scores that I've got so far as we get through one now. Doncaster 4 behinds, Doncaster East 1 behind. There you are, a thrilling contest going over on out there at Shram's Reserve. But as we do every single week, well, we're about to cross over to Clint Stanaway, just get a couple more scores through you now. They're coming through thick and fast on Twitter at FootyEFL. Scoresby 50 have bounced back in this term. They're leading South Croydon 28. And in the Baldwin game, Baldwin 6-3-39 are leading Croydon 3-20. Bayswater 3. See, they're all coming in thick and fast here. Bayswater have still trailing 3-6-24 to the Waverley Blues 4-6-30. So still a 6-point differential there. So Bayswater want to try and get their act into gear. East Burwood are 4-3-27, all tied up with Noble Park 4-3-27. Gee, there are some interesting results going around. And Nunawading leading quite respectively at the moment. They are 6-5-41, leading the Eastern Lions 2-3-15. So plenty of interesting scores around the Eastern Football League. But as we do every time at this time of the week, it's time to cross over to the Nine News studios to find out what's happening around the world. And he's back from London, and I'm sure bright smile and all. It is he did a fantastic job for the Nine News team while he was over there, and I think we're going to cross over to Clint Stanaway now. No, maybe not. We'll get Brucey working on that one. I'll bring it up to date with all the scores as from what I've got at the moment. In Division 1, Norwood have kicked away. They are 5-3-33 to East Ringwood 1-1-7. So a 4-goal-to-1 term in favour of Norwood there. Good start there for them. Just trying to work out how much that is. 26-point lead in favour of Norwood. So doing some good stuff there. As I said before, and East Burwood and Noble Park are locked at 4-3-27 apiece. So doing a fine job there. In Division 2, it's Rowville 6-7-43, leading Mulgrave 1-1-7. Upper Ferntree Gully 2-2-14, trailing Montrose 6-7-43. So Montrose a 3-goal-to-zip quarter there in their favour. Waverley Blues 4-6-30, leading Bayswater 3-6-24. Gee, wouldn't that throw a spanner in the works? But Moorabach 4-7-31. That should be leading Donvale 2-2-14. Just waiting on a Doncaster and Doncaster East score. In other Division 3 games, Templestowe 4-3-27, leading Mitcham 1-5-11. Here in our radio game, it's Ringwood 8-5-53, leading Heathmont 2-4-16. Baronia 6-2-38, leading Churnside Park 2-5-17.
Got ya.
North Ringwood 4-4-28 to Montana South 4-1-25. Canterbury by 27 points over Surrey Park. Ferntree Gully Eagles by 3 points over Forest Hill. Nunawading by 26 over the Eastern Lions. And the Basin and South Belgrave all tied up. And as we do each week, it's time to cross over to the Nine News studios. And he's back from London. I'm sure with a big smile on his face as well. Did a great job over there, but he's back in his rightful place talking to us here on a Saturday afternoon. It's a very good afternoon to Clint Stanaway.
Good afternoon, Benny. How are you?
I'm doing, mate. I'm doing well. How about yourself? You're all back on normal time now, are you?
Oh, just a little bit. It was a little bit jet lagged, but coming good now. We'll be right come 6 o'clock tonight. The Olympics, how good were they?
Fantastic.
So it was just they are dubbed the greatest show on earth for a good reason, because it was just an amazing spectacle over there in London. And the Aussies, they didn't probably perform as well as we all had hoped, but still, from our perspective, they're all champions. They did a great job.
Absolutely, and fantastic to see them bring home a few gold medals as usual towards the second half, the back end of the Olympics as well. Now
Don't we just love sailing?
Oh, absolutely. We're all jumped on board the sailing bandwagon very, very quickly. Clint, I know you're back watching the D's. How are they going against the powerhouse of the GWS?
Yeah, look, it's not the greatest spectacle, talking of spectacles, but Luke Power's 300th match, of course. What an achievement from him, and he's had a bit of the ball, and really the Giants youngsters are on show today. They're all performing pretty well, but heading into half-time, the D's hold about a 3-goal lead. So, as I say, it's nothing spectacular, though, but I'm sure they'll probably hold on just.
Now, if I don't understand, Clint, I've just had my eyes over Twitter in the afternoon. There was a bit of you said there wasn't much spectacle, with a bit of a fireworks going on at quarter time between Essendon and Carlton. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Tempers certainly flaring there at the MCG. Huge crowd on hand, and what a surprise! The Bombers are getting done badly, and if this result maintains, Carlton will actually leapfrog Essendon on the ladder. So plenty at stake there. You'd imagine the Bombers will come out firing after half time, but at the moment it looks as though they've got them.
Oh, that's good signs for a lot of our Carlton, majority of our media team here are Carlton supporters. So they're quietly jumping for joy in the background. What else is making news around the world, Clint?
Look, plenty happening in Melbourne's Nine News at 6. Police pursuit, 2 men arrested after a 2-hour chase from Gippsland in a milk tanker, would you believe? Outrage over a Surf Coast tree vandal caught on film. The costly damage of rain on Melbourne's roads revealed, and it's been a dangerous old day on Melbourne's roads as well. Alicia Loxley, of course, will have more. She's back from London as well, yes. Looking splendid. We also have Sally Pearson. She's back. She arrived on a big Qantas jet this afternoon back into Brisbane. Golden smile, armed with that gold medal. We speak to her. That's first on 9 tonight at 6.
Beautiful. Good work. Good to have you back, Clint, and we'll catch up next week.
Thanks very much.
There we have it, Clint Stanaway from Nine News. Make sure you tune in to 9 News tonight at 6 p.m. for all the latest from around the world, and of course nationally as well. Just getting some other scores through at the moment. Scoresby, a 7-0 second term from them. 9-11-65, leading South Croydon 4-4-28, 37 points is the margin in favour of the Pies there. Knock 6-6-42, leading Blackburn 5-2-32, but Blackburn with a 4-1 second term there coming back. As I mentioned before, all tied up between East Burwood and Noble Park, 4-3-27 apiece. Norwood 5-3-33, leading East Ringwood 1-1-7. Full lot of scores in Division 2. Now, apparently it's Jared Marshall from the East Doncaster Footy Club who's gone off with a broken leg, and an ambulance has had to come and pick him up. So not great news for Doncaster East. It's not a great game in terms of spectacle, it looks like, out there. Doncaster 4 behind, so Doncaster East 1 behind. Mooroolbark 4-7-31, leading Donvale 2-2-14. Roval 6-7-43, leading Mulgrave 1-1-7. Montrose 6-7-43, leading Upper Ferntree Gully 2-2-14. The Waverley Blues 4-6-30, leading Bayswater 3-6-24. In Division 3, it's Templestowe 4-3-27, leading the Mitcham side 1-5-11. Here in our radio game, it's Ringwood by 37 points. The Glen Waverley Hawks 8-15-63, leading Coldstream 3-3-21. That will make a lot of North Ringwood fans very, very nervous out there. Speaking of North Ringwood, they're only up by 3 points over Wantirna South at halftime. Baronia 6-2-38, leading Churnside Park 2-5-17. In Division 4, Nunawading 6-5-41, leading the Eastern Lions 2-3-15. But let's now cross out to the game that we've all been waiting for. It's Canterbury and Surrey Park, and the man out in the scene is Ray Baird. Good afternoon to you, Ray.
G'day, Ben. How are you?
I'm doing okay, mate. Great to have you back in the country. You've gone out there expecting Surrey Park to put up a bit of a performance, but Canterbury are doing a fine job at the moment, it looks like.
Look, at the moment, Canterbury look as though they've got their measure. But having said that, look, Surrey Park in the last 10 minutes of that second quarter, Andrew Troop would have been happy with their endeavour. They did pepper the goals, but not without much result. And look, unfortunately, they go into half-time with a 27-point deficit.
And just some of the major players that for Canterbury have really lifted them at this stage?
Look, Canterbury were very good. They had some good players all over the ground. Brett Isles was very good. Ron Walmsley, McDonald, they were all good players for them. Whereas for Surrey Park, look, their defence, they were down the back of Hardesty and Lingham. They just marked everything that went down there in the first quarter. But look, this game was broken open. It was a funny game, Ben. In the first quarter, there was no score for 12 minutes, and then in the next 4 minutes, Canterbury kicked, in the next 9 minutes, Canterbury kicked 4 goals and broke open a lead. But then in the next 7 minutes after that, Surrey Park came back with 3 goals of their own. Plus, in that time, Canterbury did get another one, and unfortunately for Surrey Park, Canterbury did kick another one right on the siren at quarter time. But look, it doesn't look good for Surrey Park at the moment, but as I said, the coach, Andrew Toopy, must be happy with the last 10 minutes. They peppered the goals, but unfortunately, all of them just fell short.
Well, we'll have you on standby, Ray, in case we need to cross to you at any time as well. So good luck watching the game this afternoon, and we'll talk to you a bit later.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you.
No worries. Canterbury 8-8-56, leading Surrey Park 4-5-29. Barry, both teams are out on the studio at the moment, so we won't cross back out in the studio. Back out in the H.E. Parker Reserve at the moment, so we won't cross back to the studio. We're about to get stuck into this big, important contest. It's Ringwood 8-5-53, leading Heathmont 2-4-16 BWS.
Thank you very much to Ben Waterworth. Some real interesting results, Brad, as you go local for your football this afternoon. Both sides back on the park. We'll expect a relatively early finish out here today at H.E. Parker Reserve, but the big man joins us in the special comments. What do Heathmont have to do, Pete, to get back in this game and keep their season alive?
They really need to try and minimise the influence that Trent Farmer's had so far. He's been fantastic from up forward. They need to get some of their stars. I call for Lee Odermatt to probably perhaps be moved into their back line. He's one of the guys that can really spark this Heathmont side to get up and going. Kevin Clark's been good. He probably needs to stay on the ball. They just need to get some cleaner disposal and move the ball with a bit more fluency and efficiency around the ground. That's probably what's really let them down so far.
Thank you very much to the big man who milks cows for a living, and of course Daniel Sensic, who is thrilled to bits to be in the caravan this afternoon thanks to Choose Tap doing the stats instead of the boundary line. Of course, your first half stats, thank you, mate.
Yeah, first half stats, marks 20-23 in Heathmont's favour, 44 kicks to 29 in Ringwood's favour, clearances 8-3 in Ringwood's favour, handballs 30-44 in Heathmont's favour, and of course hit-outs the big one, 32 hit-outs to Ringwood, only 9 to Heathmont.
Thank you very much to Dan as Brad Henderson takes us away at the start of the second half.
Thanks very much, BWS. The second half does get underway here at H.E. Parker Reserve. This must-win game for both sides. To this stage, Ringwood have certainly been the far better team, but Heathmont looking to get the third quarter off to a fast start. They got it inside their forward 50, but Greg got the quick clearing kick. Looking for the safety of the boundary that time. And in the end, it will be a ball up. So just inside the field of play. Close to the fence. Umpire tosses it up now. Ball on the deck. Paddled over the line there once more by Hickey. It's going to be a free kick. It will go to Waddell for Ringwood. Andrew Waddell unloads, looks for King. Hit him on the chest, just couldn't quite hold the mark. Sindri went to ground, there's a whistle, and looks like the umpire will ball it up. So umpire to throw it up. Pretty sedate start to this third quarter, just 1 minute gone. Heathmont need a couple of quick early goals. O'Driscoll socket off the ground, but that was smothered. It's been the order of the day today. Over to Matt, very high up and under kick. Greg with the fist came from behind. Heathmont just try to force the ball forward, and Ringwood have plenty of numbers there to get to the contest. Cross boundary side shortly, thanks to Akira urgent care in just a moment as Brinter fisted it down, but it was taken by Villani. He was all wrapped up by Waddell. It's across boundary side thanks to Akira urgent care.
Thanks, Brad. Just in terms of the weather conditions down here, Heathmont's certainly still got the wind with them in this term, but the rain just looks to have held off, and we should be right, hopefully, for the rest of the game.
Thanks there to Braden Ingram as the ball was fed out there. No one in support for Heathmont. It was Jones for Ringwood who took the ball to the boundary line. And at the moment, Ringwood still seem to be getting more numbers to the ball in quicker time than Heathmont. The Jets just haven't really fired a shot today, apart from Kevin Clark and a couple of really wonderful goals in that first half. Aside from that, they've been bereft of highlights as King gave it off to Davis. High left foot kick by Luke Davis. Tui wants to set off with a footy, but it's going to come back. Goes to Lang. Great first half he had. Scott Lang sends it forward now. Not his best effort with the kick. Spurns very content to see the ball to the boundary line, and it will be a boundary throw-in. So Katsiavos there was prowling dangerously in the forward pocket.
Bit of a disco happening out at H.E. Parker.
Some serious tech is going on across. I'm not sure what's going on there.
It's Hawaiian shirt day as well in the forward pocket of where Ringwood are kicking to at the moment. In the Roth zone. Is that what it says? Roth zone.
Something like that.
So ball to be thrown in alongside the behind post.
Froth zone.
Quick kick for Ringwood, very high ball into loose space. Davis puts his body over the ball and he's all wrapped up. And indeed it is the froth zone. That makes a lot more sense. So the umpire to throw it up, does so now. Came off hands, little handball from Jones. Heathmont defence under siege at the moment. Davis feeds it out to Vinnie Jones. He backpedals, concedes some ground with the kick, but it was a good pass there to Waddell. And Ringwood just playing with very cool heads at the moment, summing up the situation beautifully. And a chance here for Andrew Waddell to kick his first of the day. Was named in the best last week for Ringwood against the Glen Waverley Hawks. He's cropped up in the best players on a number of occasions this year for Ringwood. Confident approach. The kick though wasn't his best and falls well short. And Luke Broadbent had that kick well and truly scouted and will clear for the Jets.
So Broadbent has it for Heathmont. Kicks it across the defensive 50. They need their skills to be clean here. Ringwood, they're going to rebound. The high kick goes inside forward 50. At the fall of the ball, Tui nearly got one in the back. Jones is in there, so too is Hickey, trying to paddle it to his advantage, but the grubber kick went only as far as Nolan, who in turn paddled it to his own advantage. Inside forward 50, put his head over the ball. Could have nearly won a free kick. Right on his hammer is Jake Sheriff. The umpire will come in and bounce it about 25 metres out from goal. It's down the Ringwood end. We're not seeing any goals kicked beyond 30 metres really this afternoon. It's a heavy football, it's a heavy ground, but it is holding up. The umpire throws it up. No one got the clear tap out that time. It's still at 25 metres around from the Ringwood goal. Scooped up and kicked to the top of the goal square by Scott Lang, who's going to be in position A. Farmer nearly held onto it too. Rushed over the boundary, rushed over the behind line and through for 1 point by Dylan Spurns. So Ringwood, they're still peppering Pete on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. They move to 8 goals, 654, 2-4-14 is Heathmont.
Yeah, it's a worrying sign for Heathmont because all the plays being played now inside that Ringwood forward 50 metre arc. If Heathmont are going to get back into the game, they need to score quickly. They're not going to do it by sloppy kicks like that, BWS.
Well, the ball came straight back in and Farmer had a shot on goal, but his kick was a little bit scrappy, and now the Jets are going to clear it out to the members' side. They haven't really used this side of the ground all afternoon. The kick was intended for the boundary line. Is it going to get there? Nolan was right there, but boundary line does eventually find the ball and we'll have a boundary throw in. Centre wing. Big margin out here. Almost 40 points, 38 points is the margin. Grinter had the front spot. He knocked it down. First to meet the ball there was Waddell. He's had a good game. He fended it back there to Jones. Sold the dummy, then kicked it on his right boot up towards the direction of Lang. He was quickly met in a tackle. The umpire will come in and bounce it once again. So Jake Sheriff, he's been okay on Lang.
Oh, but Lang's been fantastic today, BWS. He'd have to be a contender for that Narellan Paul's Player of the Day.
Yeah, he's kicked a couple of goals. I wouldn't say he's best on ground just yet. As the ball comes out now, Todd Nolan bangs it on his boot. The kick went inside forward 50 at the fall of the ball. Zach Tui needed a little bit of run. He got it through Luke Davis, who swings around on the left boot. He kicks it to the top of the goal square. It's going to bounce away. Broadbent, he's back there for the Jets. He just has to have a little bit of poison. He does so. Kicks it out towards the Willani direction. It went over the top of his head. Charging through was Odermatt. That was okay. Got the handball over to George. He just had to hold his ground. He copped one a little bit high from Lang, and he'll receive a free kick. He wastes no time in moving the ball onto Villani along the wing position for Heathmont as he kicks it up towards the half forward line. The kick wasn't crash shot, but it was okay. Ball across that half forward line. Good mark, Pat Burmeister. He just had to stand tall, and he did so. He had a lot of the football so far for Ringwood. That was a good mark in the defensive zone. The kick goes into the middle of the ground. Paul, he's had a good game so far for Heathmont. Trying his all. Takes it just inside the centre square and now wants to reload. The kick was terrible though. Chopping it off was Tim Burmeister down low. So a little bit of kick-to-kick happening out here at H.E. Parker. There's been goal kick to Ringwood. Ball comes out now. Good front spot there. Scott Lang. Really making plays, isn't he, Peter Baird, as the ball goes up towards the half-forward line. Grubbers towards the boundary line. And we keep it in. Oh, he's going to come in now and bounce it. So we'll have a ball up out of side of the ground. Heathmont 2-4-16. They're trailing Ringwood 8-6-54. We've gone almost 9 minutes in the third term.
Umpire tosses it up. Real lull in play at the moment in this third quarter as Farmer gets boot to ball. Tried to direct that little pass to King. Unable to do so.
I'd be interested to know if we've got a stat, Dan Senchik, on the clearances from stoppages, because just from my observation, Ringwood are absolutely dominating the Heathmont Jets at this stage of the game.
Ringwood dominating the clearances so far all afternoon. 9 clearances to 3.
Back into play. Farmer doing the ruck work this time. Broadbent hunts down the footy. Nice gather by Luke Broadbent. He always shows good poise and class. Tim Burmeister there, sharing it with his brother Pat. Pat Burmeister's handball, didn't travel too far. Ringwood defence teaming together nicely. And again, they'll force the ball up.
Well, we've got a bit of a lull, Brad. Canterbury by 27 over Surrey Park. Ferntree Gully Eagles by 3 over Forest Hill. The Basin and South Belgrave locked at 22 apiece. Sylvan by 31 over Kilsyth, and Nunawading by 26 over the Eastern Lions. Templestowe by 16 over Mitcham. Ringwood here, obviously comfortably leading. Glenmobley Hawks by 42 over Coldstream. Baronia by 21 over Baronia. And North Ringwood by 3 over Wantirna South. I love
Baronia
that.
By 21 over Baronia.
That's the one. Baronia by 21 over Churnside Park.
A lot of players over the footy.
We need something to liven it up.
And Todd Nolan there involved as well. A couple of handy inclusions this week for Ringwood for this crucial game with Todd Nolan, Pat Burmeister, and also Luke Eastick all coming into the side that went down last week.
These kicks got to go to the hot spot. Don't go wide, Heathmont. That's what they've done all day.
Short pass for Knudsen. He's been pretty quiet. He cops it up and then pops a high one. And we'll get a free kick. They don't waste any time, the Jets. They quickly move it on to George. Clinton George's kick. Looking for Odermatt. He slid in. Ball came out the back somehow. Sindri to Savoury in the goal square. Off hands, Kevy Clark. What magic can he conjure up here? He almost managed to do it. But in the end, Jack Gill was able to force it through for a minor score. And Kevin Clark, he has kicked 2 great goals today. Almost made it 3. But some great defence there from Gill in the goal square. Heathmont move on to 2 goals, 5-17. And Ringwood 9-8, 8 goals, 6-54, I should say. Bendigo Bank scored.
Well, they're moving it nicely through the middle. Vinnie Jones' kick was half smothered. Still in centre wing position. Redbacks are going to have the numbers, just paddling the ball to their advantage. Sindri, he's back there. In fact, it was Stephen Burns for the Jets. He handballed into absolutely no man's land, but he was lucky to have Alani out there. Waddell's on his case. We'll have a boundary. We'll have a ball up. Half forward flank for the Ringwood Football Club. They've
really owned the corridor today, BWS. Ringwood, every time they get possession, they run the ball through that middle of the ground. But Heathmont, they just keep continually getting pushed wide time and time again.
The umpire throws the ball aloft. Time it was Farmer who won the tap down for Ringwood. He's going to get it again. Little toe poke off the ground. In there too is Vinnie Jones on all fours. George got the handball out, but it went straight to King, who just had a pot shot up into the forward pocket. They need to have numbers back there, Heathmont, and they're going to have it now. The switch of the play is on if they can get the ball moving. Jesus, tough to get your disposals happening right today as the kick goes towards Knudsen. Right on his hammer is McCann. The umpire's going to come in and bounce it. Neither player can break away, so almost in the centre of the ground on the turf wicket. It's a big margin out here, 37 points. Ringwood, they just need to hold on in this term, and then the last quarter they'll kick with the wind and probably kick themselves into a final series this year. The kick by Waddell was half smothered. Now Heathmont bang the ball inside forward 50. The kick goes up towards the O'Driscoll direction. He nearly got a hand on the shoulder. Tried to scoop it out. There was Levi Horton. That was okay. Waddell's down on hand, all fours. The umpire's got to come in and bounce this one now. Heathmont screaming for holding the ball, but not to be. So we'll be 35 metres out from the Heathmont goals. They need a goal here. 12.5 minutes gone in this third term. Good fist away that time by Grinter. Kev Clark quickly wrapped up in the tackle, and we'll have another stoppage. Ben Waterworth around the ground.
Just showing Peter Baird at half-time between Doncaster and Doncaster East. It's 1-4-10 apiece.
Absolute cracking game down JJ Tully Drive today. The umpire throws it up. It comes towards the Clark direction. He's going to slide over the boundary line and out of bounds right in front of us here on our broadcast position.
But in all seriousness, BWS, if Doncaster can get up, Roval are giving Mulgrove a bit of a pantsing at the moment. Doncaster are every chance to get themselves at the bottom of the Divi 2 ladder.
Just inside forward 50 for Heathmont. They need a score on the ball taken by Macklin. He banged it on his boot. It was a good kick too. But standing in position A was Darren Paul.
He's been good today, Ben.
He has. 75 metres out from goal. Looking for options inside. Just going to kick it to the hot spot. That's where Peter Baird wanted him to go. It went straight over the top of Savoury's head and Odermatt at the fall of the ball. Waddell, he's been super today. Got it onto Davis, and he bangs it on his boot and kicks it out of the danger zone. First to meet it was Himmerman for Heathmont. Gets down, tries to hold it in there. The umpire's going to ping him here for holding the ball, you would expect, and that's exactly what he does. He just absolutely played dead instead of trying to move the ball onwards. So Tim Burmeister in the middle of the ground will be the recipient of the free kick as a Redback surge forward.
Yeah, laid all over the footy then on that occasion, Himmerman. So it was an obvious free kick. Ringwood go forward. Davis slides in. Farmer takes possession. It's been negated a little bit more to some extent in this third quarter after a big first half. Trent Farmer. Deficit still 37 points. And Heathmont in this quarter have kicked one behind to, well, no score as a matter of fact. Sorry, one behind each. One behind a piece for both teams in this quarter. Sverns, driving kick. Carries over the back. Nicely played there by Burmeister. High up and under kick Nolan. Judged it nicely. Had to sit under the footy for a long time. Safely takes the mark now. He's off and running. Drives it forward. Plenty of Heathmont defenders back there. Himmerman slides in. Came off the ground. Can someone get a despairing
was legged.
Ball? Lang, he came up with the footy. There has been a free kick, as you said, for a trip. There's a bit of push and shove going on in the goal square. And is there... Well, in the end, it's Ringwood free kick, and it will go to Trent Farmer. So it took a while to finally get the footy to him. That free kick happened about a minute ago. Now finally Trent Farmer will take the resulting free kick. He's got mud all over his face, but he won't be worried about that when he slots through his second goal of the day. That's exactly what Trent Farmer has done. 2 goals now for him. 48 goals for the season for Trent Farmer.
Oh, careful, boys.
And Ringwood, and there is a little bit going on, but Ringwood now on to 9 goals, 660, and Heathmont 2-5-17. Bendigo Bank scoreboard as a couple of players come off under the blood rule, I think.
Trent Farmer just needs to be very careful there. Remonstration after he kicked the goal. The last thing you want to do is find yourself reported on the eve of the Choose Tap Division 3 final series. Just needs to pull his head in a little bit in that situation. It's a little bit dangerous going in these first.
Speaking of Choose Tap final series, Pete, Templestowe looking pretty good going in there at the moment. They lead by Mitcham by 16 points. Gilmoverley Hawks by 42 over Coldstream. Baronia by 21 over Churnside Park. And North Ringwood by 3 over Wanturna South.
Well, the ball's across the middle of the ground. It was snapped around the body there by David Sindri, wanting the boundary line. He's going to find it. Other side of the ground, Ben.
In Division 2, it's Doncaster and Doncaster East, all locked up at 10 apiece. Murrelbach leading by 17 points. Roval by 36 over Mulgrave. Montrose by 29 over Upper Gully. But here's a spanner in the works. The Waverley Blues by 6 over Bayswater.
Amazing stuff as you go local for your football. The umpire threw it in and nearly could have been a free kick to Savoury. Fresh air shots aplenty. We'll have another bounce.
Division 1, Scoresby by 37 over South Croydon. Baldwin by 18 over Croydon Frosty. Knox by 10 over Blackburn. East Burwood and Noble Park all tied up. Norwood by 26 over East Ringwood. And Vermont by 43 over Lilydale.
Well, Copeland got the knockdown and went straight into the arms of Vinnie Jones, but he was rushed over the boundary line and out of bounds. More scores?
Just getting a tweet here through from Connor. 2 Canterbury goals in the yellow card at Surrey Park. Another Coppers goal pushes the margin to 46 points. Curtains for the Panthers.
So it came out now to Luke Jones, who tried to snap the ball. He was felled upon. That was okay. Sam Barling tried to get a handball out. Oh, desperation stakes. Going to get out of this though, Ringwood. Kick goes out. Only gained about 5 metres or so towards
boundary.
the Luke Broadbent direction, and he paddles it over the boundary line and out of bounds as we cross down boundary side to Braden Ingram thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Thanks, BWS. Despite the conditions in the wind, we're actually not seeing too many interchange sides, only making probably a couple a quarter, and that's about it.
Copeland won the front spot, got the knockdown Dan, kick off the ground by Waddell. Only gained 5 metres, but it was in the right direction. Broadbent was charging out in there. E-stick on all hands and knees. Came out by Reeves. Handball went to nobody. Broadbent runs it over the boundary line and out of bounds. Good crowd out on that other side of the ground.
In Division 4 BWS, as you heard, Canterbury by 46 over Surrey Park, Ferntree Gully by 3 over Forest Hill, the Basin and South Belgrave locked up at half time, Sylvan by 31 over Kilsyth, and Nunawading by 26 over the Eastern Lions.
The umpire threw it in, it came out to Jones. His teammate under a lot of pressure with the handball, Alani. He picked it up, took the player on, and well, he actually earned himself a free kick after dropping it like a hot potato. Will Villani, he's going to take it. Kick along the wing position. He wanted Clark. It's not going to get there. Their skills have not been on at all afternoon. Heathmont today really struggling to hit a target, Pete.
They are, and that's really what's been the story of the day for the Jets. They just can't find that target by hand or foot, and when you continually turn the ball over against a side with the tackling ferocity of Ringwood, they're going to make you pay. They're going to run the ball through the corridor, which they've done constantly, and they're going to score with their big forwards, Katsiavos and Farmer and Lang.
43 points is the margin as we cross time on in this third turn. The kick by Villani goes up towards Odermatt. He tried to confuse the umpire by saying it had stayed in, but over the boundary line and out of bounds on the full, the ball goes.
Now, BWS, I know you were talking them up beforehand. Just got a text through from Whitest Pioneers, a little bit slow, but the Pioneers are 6-3-39 to Warrandyte 5-5-35.
Oh, what a game we've got on our hands out there. Division 3 at its best this afternoon. Knudsen got beaten by Jones, who got the handball over to McCann. That was half smothered. Odermatt's in there trying to play for a free kick. In off the ground came Savoury, but that went absolutely nowhere. Wet weather conditions. It came out towards Macklin in the middle of the ground with the helmet, and he couldn't take the mark. It scoots out there now to O'Driscoll, kicks the ball up towards the half-forward line. Who's going to charge out? It looks like the Redbacks are going to have the numbers here across the half-back line. Oh, that was a good bit of play there. Gill, he never say die attitude. Move the ball along. The umpire might come in and bounce this. It's a hot footy across the half-forward line. It's down Heathmont's end. They need to get a score on the board. Been very quiet. So the umpire throws it, wastes no time. Baker. In fact, it was O'Driscoll got the knockdown. It went straight to the arms of Shaw. He couldn't get clear possession. O'Driscoll lays the tackle, and we'll have another ball up. 50 metres out, true centre half forward position. Greg just making his presence felt for Ringwood. Umpire throws it up. Came straight into the arms of Greg. Tried to get boot to ball. Ball scrambles its way into the middle of the ground. Tried to pick it up. There was Dylan Sverns. He was quickly tackled. Villani came in to lend a bit of a hand of support, but Ringwood are away. Bigger kick goes up towards the half-forward line. Playing for a free kick was Farmer, and I think he's going to actually earn it as well.
Played in that front position all day, BWS, and he just earns the free kicks time and time again. It's actually Scott Lang.
Yes, it's Lang on the left boot as he goes inside forward 50. And speak of people who have been good with their skills all afternoon, Lang and Farmer, that duo has worked out magnificently. And speak of the devil, Trent Farmer takes a mark at 35 metres out from goal, just his range, I think, at this stage of the game.
I reckon you might be right on that. I reckon he should kick this one and put this one beyond the range of Heathmont.
Farmer has kicked 2 this afternoon, and he proves why Peter Baird probably shouldn't be in the special comments chair this afternoon. As he
Give a man a rap, he'll let you down every time.
Lukey Broadbent takes the mark for the Jets. His kick went awry, and Sam Barling can't keep that in. We'll have a boundary throwing right near the cricket nets, if you know H.E. Parker Reserve, on the outer side of the ground, Ben.
Scoresby 37 points in front of South Croydon. Baldwin by 18 over Croydon. Knox by 10 over Blackburn. Eastbourne and Noel Park all locked up. Norwood 26 points in front of East Ringwood, and Vermont 43 points in front of Lilydale.
22-minute mark of the third quarter. 43-point lead at this stage to Ringwood. And Heathmont, absolute last chance saloon for them in this game of footy. A need to start some sort of run on now. Hickey takes possession, looks for Savoury, bounces out in front of Savoury, trickles over the boundary line. Once again, that boundary line, it's almost got like a magnetic pull when Heathmont have the footy. They just can't seem to keep it away from that outer side. And like on that occasion, Hickey, probably if he just managed to come inboard a bit more, would have created a better option for Heathmont. But as it is, boundary throw in. Baker doing a mountain of, actually Baker's off the ground just at the moment, but he's done a mountain of work in the ruck today for the Jets. Celebrating a milestone, of course. We heard Steve Buckle speak about that pre-game, that Heathmont certainly do. They're not one of these teams that overlook milestones. I think they're incidental. High balls it up now. Massive pack of players around the footy. Huge conglomeration of players with Barling there wanting to grab the football.
Daniel Sensig, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Yeah, kicks this quarter 37 to 25.
High tosses it up. Socket off the ground by Waddell. Little handball fed out to Tim Burmeister. He was going nowhere. King quickly threw the ball on the boot. Was smothered though. Heathmont get it forward, but great desperation in defence and forced through there for a minor score by McCann. He summed up that situation well, and a minor score takes Heathmont on to 2-6. Ringwood a 9-6 Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Got our first lot of three-quarter time scores through. Frosty, you'll enjoy this one. Roval 8-8-56 leading Mulgrave 1-3-9, so Doncaster will like that one. And Templestowe 6-5-41 leading Mitcham 1-7-13 at three-quarter time. Dockers looking good.
Thanks, Ben. I know you tipped Mitcham, you won't be happy with that
No.
one. Abai throws it up, came down to Clark. He's been clever this afternoon for the Jets. Kicks it to the hot spot, top of the square. The intention was Knudsen. Odermatt's right there too. Rushed over the behind line and through for one minor score as the siren goes to mark three-quarter time out here at H.E. Parker Reserve, where Heathmont didn't kick a goal in that third term. There was only one scored for the whole quarter. It only went 25 minutes, and at three-quarter time it is Ringwood really running away with this one now. 9-6-60. They lead it. 2-6-18 is the Heathmont Football Club. Three-quarter time out here at H.E. Parker Reserve. As we've already heard from Ben all afternoon, there's plenty of scores happening as you go local for your football, so there's only one place to be, and that's 98.1 Radio Eastern right after this break. It's EFL Game Day.
I'm Pam Pepperell, and I will be with you Fridays from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m, playing contemporary classic hits from the 50s through to the 80s. Also great music from Broadway and film. So tune in every Friday at 11 a.m. for pleasant entertainment right here on Radio Eastern 98.1 FM.
Oh, you ought to see me now. If you could only see me now. If you would only see me now.
Radio Eastern 98.1, 11 minutes to 4. This is EFL Game Day. We will return for the last quarter of the Heathmont-Ringwood game in just a moment. Barry Goss back in the studio. Let's take a quick check of AFL scores. And currently it's three-quarter time with the game being played between Carlton and Essendon at the MCG. And a very big lead to Carlton. Carlton 29-129, leading Essendon 7-8-50. So a big lead there to the tune of 79 points to Essendon at the end of the third quarter. So, sorry, just to Carlton. So in the end, it'll be a big win to come there. I should imagine for the last quarter. The game is at Monaco Oval in Canterbury this afternoon between GWS and Melbourne. It's the 7-minute mark of the third quarter, and Melbourne 7-10-52, and GWS 4-4-28. So just repeating the Essendon Carlton score, Carlton 29-129, leading Essendon 7-8-50 at three-quarter time. Now, do you have sudden fever, aching body, sore throats, chills, nausea, headache, dizziness? It sounds like you need medical assistance urgently. Now, it's difficult getting an immediate appointment with your GP when you need care fast. So come to Akira Urgent Care, where you don't need an appointment and you won't have to wait. They're Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road in Boronia, or phone them on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care. Your health, your destiny.
If you love your EFL footy like I do, and you love getting down to see your team play, you don't want to be spending your weekend stuck in the car driving. That's why I opened a Breeze account. EastLink is the quickest, easiest way to get around Melbourne's east, and Tags are the cheapest way to use EastLink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au today and use EastLink in the cheapest possible way, with a Tag account. Instead of being stuck behind the wheel, I can have more time getting stuck into the umpire. All EastLink. It's time better spent, like at the footy.
Program sponsor. In desperate need of some windows, your budget's too tight? Never fear, because the team at T&B Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give us a call, 8727 7506. That's 8727-7506. T&B Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name. Part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. #1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local with your footy.
Three-quarter time, I should say, here between Heathmont and Ringwood, but there's plenty of other scores going on around EFL grounds at the moment. In Division 2, Mooroolbark 7-8-50, leading Donvale 2-3-15, so 35-point lead there. Roeville 8-8-56, leading Mulgrave 1-3-9, so we've got to keep our eyes on that one. Montrose 9-11-65, comfortably leading Upper Ferntree Gully 3-3-21. Templestowe 6-5-41, leading Mitcham 1-7-13. Churnside Park 4-6-30. Trailing Baronia 8-9-57, and North Ringwood have kicked away in the third term ever so slightly. They're 7-5-41, leading Wanturna South 4-1-25. Wanturna South were kept scoreless in that term. Also a score through from the Basin and South Belgrave, and the Basin are 5-4-34, leading South Belgrave 4-5-29, so a 5-point lead in favour of the Basin at the moment. So make sure you keep your eyes on our Twitter feed.
Boundary.
Make sure you follow us at Footy EFL. Let's cross down boundary side. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care. We've got Braden and Andy down on the boundary.
Yeah, guys, it's Andy here. Listen to Steve Buckle in the Heathmont huddle. He said you really appreciate the effort in the third quarter. He just wants the boys to roll the dice now, run, take risks, and finish on a positive note. He's really proud of the boys' efforts today.
Thank you very much to Andy Paolacci, doing some fantastic work down there, thanks to Akira Urgent Care. I think the Warrandyte and White Pioneers is 45 apiece, close to three-quarter time. That makes for interesting viewing. And the Rams of East Burwood are up by 1 point, the 15-minute mark of the third quarter. Brad Henderson, take it away on EFL Game Day.
Thanks very much, Ben Waterworth. And yeah, I think the effort of Heathmont's been okay, but yeah, certainly the method has left a bit to be desired. But Steve Buckle's still pretty proud, probably, of the team for their season in general. And they will roll the dice, you would think, in this last quarter. They have to try something last chance for them. Ringwood look like they're going to play finals in season 2012. Free kick has gone to Odermatt. So Lee Odermatt got a yellow footy again for the last quarter. Sweeping handball. It's to a pack of players. Excuse me, Pat Burmeister comes up with it, but the free kick will go to George. Clinton George for Heathmont. Hasn't been their worst today. Nice pass across the ground to Paul. The veteran races in, fires at the goals. Kicks to the square. Baker. The ball came off hands then, and Daniel Baker.
Boundary.
I think his eyes lit up for a brief moment, but then the ball was stripped from him by Tui. And a minor score as McCann will bring the ball back in for the Jets.
Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Braden Ingram.
Thanks, BWS. It was a pretty concise message from Ringwood coach Josh Tui at three-quarter time. All it was that he really wanted his boys to play 4 complete quarters and that he was looking for perfection. Really wanted them to take the momentum into next week, and that this was phase 1. Next week in the finals were phase 2, and there's still a lot to go in the season.
Thank you very much to Braden. Be a pretty happy bunch over at the Heathmont huddle at three-quarter time, you would expect. It's a very handy lead to 40 points, Brad.
I reckon it was a concise message because the Ringwood huddle broke up in a heartbeat. They were ready to go straight away.
Ball in the middle of the ground. Play sort of stops. King's in there. Have another bounce. Jake Sheriff on his hammer. Peter Baird's finished his 8 Dim Sims and is right back in the caravan.
No Dim Sims for me at three-quarter time, BWS.
High to throw the ball up aloft. So clear disposal. It's half kick by Savoury. He's up towards the half-forward line. Sting's really gone out of this match this afternoon. It's incredibly wet underfoot, as I'm sure everybody can tell by the broadcast. So Heathmont to move the ball up towards the half-forward line. It looked like Hickey may have been held there, picked up by Grinter, got the handball away to Parsons. His handball was chopped off. In fact, he didn't dispose of it correctly, and the free kick will go to Levi Horton just outside the 50. He wants to move it on quickly. The kick once again wasn't too crash hot. The kick goes forward by O'Driscoll. It's right near that behind post. It might bounce, and it goes through for one behind. So Heathmont just can't get Lady Luck on their side this afternoon. They move on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard to 2-9. They're trailing 9-6. Ringwood have got this one covered, Pete.
You'd think so from here. It's a big margin to try and make up. They've got to kick another 7 goals to get in front. They've only kicked 2 for the day. Wouldn't they love to have Darren Sheen out there at the moment?
Oh,
they don't.
Anthony McCann tried to bring the ball back in there after the behind, but he overstepped the line. So ball up, top of the square.
Three-quarter time, the Waverley Blues and Bayswater. The Waverley Blues 6-9-45, leading Bayswater 6-7-43, but it's going to be irrelevant because Murrelbach currently lead Donvale 7-8-50 to Donvale 2-3-15 by 35 points.
Umpire throws it up now. Deep in the Heathmont forward line. Clark tries to bend the kick back. Parsons got a handball away. Ringwood teamed together really well. Burmeister puts his body over the ball. He's all wrapped up there by Sindri, and O'Driscoll has given away a needless free kick. That was just ridiculous then.
Bit of frustration creeping into the Heathmont play now, Brad Henderson.
Yeah, very unnecessary. So the free kick goes to the Redbacks, and the kick really was into open space. Nobody there for Ringwood.
That's high.
As a high tackle, as you said, frustration creeping in to some extent. Kick around the corner was clever.
Why go wide?
The idea wasn't great. The execution was decent. Clark, little handball to Horton. Levi Horton kicks to the top of the square for the Jets, but Ringwood will be able to clear once more. I think that was Burmeister.
Oh, they're on here if they get a clean possession here.
Waddell in open space. Parsons can't take the mark. He's still got plenty of time. Wheels around now. Left foot kick. He's got Tui all on his own. Loose players everywhere here for the Redbacks. King can't quite take the mark against Burns. Burns sets off. I'm not sure where the kick, who it was supposed to go to. Finishes up in the hands of Paul. Put him under a lot of pressure. Greg shared it with Tui to King. Little kick around the corner by Michael King. What's he done there? He's put it out of bounds on the full. Totally mistimed the kick. And it's pretty ugly stuff at the moment. 39 points the margin. Ringwood leading 9 goals, 660. Heathmont 2-9-21 as Odermatt on a long lead. Kicks forward. Nobody there for Heathmont. Again, at times can't understand the thought processes that Heathmont are going through at the moment, let alone the inability in these wet conditions to hit their targets. Lang puts his body over it, and it will be a ball up.
Yeah, their decision-making today has been terrible at times, Brad Henderson. You're right on the money, and their execution hasn't been great either, and that's probably been the real reason why they just can't get involved in this game. They just turn the ball over when they're in possession.
Pye throws the ball up. Re-hit the deck. I think we'll have another start here. Daniel Sensik, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Yeah, Heathmont dominating possession this quarter. Kick 17 to Ringwood's 12.
Stan. Centre half forward. Ringwood 9-6. 60. Leading 2-9-21 Heathmont. This game's over. Ringwood, they'll just be wanting to run it out. That was okay too. His kick was half smothered. Goes towards the Katsiavas direction. Got down low, nearly earned himself a free kick. Picked up by Broadbent. That was okay. Got it across to Burns. He's going to switch the play. Touches the ball down on the ground. That was clever. Does it again. He's got Spurns if he wants him. Kicks it out. Nearly kicks it out of bounds on the full. In fact, he does. So just another bit of incorrect disposal that's going to hurt them here. There's Ringwood. Got the ball with Parsons, about 60 metres out from goal. Wants to square things up further. That was a good kick too. Went to Katsiavas, dropped what he normally would have taken. Runs around one, runs around two, steps around the body. Katsiavas, that is a super goal. That's his third on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard and Ringwood's 10th. And they move away to 10 goals, 666. It's a 45-point margin now. 2 goals, 9-21. And of course, yes, Brad, I have mentioned that it is his third goal already this afternoon. Peter Baird, that was a good bit of play by the Redbacks.
It was. That's where he's so dangerous, Katsiavas. He's strong overhead, and when he does bring the ball to ground, he's super at ground level as well, and he showed all those facets of his play there. Wasn't able to hang on to the mark, but as soon as that ball hit the deck, he swooped on it and just pounced like a Redback waiting under a log just to snap that goal.
And it was his 68th goal of season 2012. James Katsiavas, his third of today, as O'Driscoll goes up in the ruck this time, unfamiliar role. And Kieran O'Driscoll, the frustration was absolutely written all over his face in the last passage of play. He looked absolutely fed up and over it. O'Driscoll now takes possession, coughs it up to Waddell.
It's been good.
Broadbent waited for the footy. Tui attacked it. Tui soccers off the ground now into the path of Hill. Kieran Hill gets boot to ball. Katsiavas, it carries over his head and through for a minor score from the boot of Kieran Hill. So Ringwood at the moment, they are the team finishing full of running. Heathmont are running on the spot at the moment, and they're 2 goals, 9-21. Ringwood 10-8, 68 Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 4.5 minutes gone, final quarter.
More scores, Ben.
Looks like Bowen and Croydon, a 28-point lead to Bowen. Croydon kept scoreless in that term, where Bowen were only able to put on a goal, 1 goal 4.
Well, the ball's on centre wing position. Out there wide is David Sindri. Winds around on the left boot. It was half smothered, and it's going to go right near the boundary line and out of bounds. So right near those cricket nets. More scores, Ben.
So at the moment, Mooroolbark by 35 over Donvale, Roeville by 47 over Mulgrave, Montrose by 44 over Upper Ferntree Gully, and the Waverley Blues by 2 over Bayswater. But at the moment, it looks like it will be Roeville, Mulgrave, Mooroolbark and Bayswater 1 to 4 in Division 2.
Umpire threw it in. It was Grinto who had the front spot. Ball hits the deck. Savoury got down low. Greg's on his hammer. Have another stoppage. So actually, no, we won't. And the umpire said, well, we'll just keep this one going. That was good play by Eastick just to keep the ball moving in the middle of the ground, soccering it off the ground there. Intended for Waddle, picked up by Darren Paul. That was okay. Got it across to Savoury, banged it on the left boot, kicked it up towards the 50-metre line. Kicks are only going 20 metres, if that at the moment, and we'll have another ball up.
So at the moment, it is the Whitehorse Pioneers trailing by 1 point against Warrandyte at 3/4 time. Wow. So the Pioneers are still in with a chance. But looking at the results at the moment, North Ringwood should finish on top, followed by the Glen Waverley Hawks, Baronia, then Heathmont in 4th and Mitcham in 5th at the moment.
Savoury banged it on his boot. It went straight down the throat of Tim Burmeister and he just couldn't hold the mark. So second bite over the boundary line and out of bounds. We're in Heathmont's forward 50, about 45 metres out from goal.
In Division 4, Canterbury by 39 points over Surrey Park, Ferntree Gully Eagles by 18 over Forest Hill, the Basin by 5 over South Belgrave, and Nunawading 53-point leaders over Eastern Lions.
The ball's been kicked forward. It's going to be picked up there by Jack Gill to get it out of the danger zone, and he boots it out now. That was good intended for Andrew Waddell. He needed some support. He got it. Kicked out towards the wing position. It's going to bounce just inside. He might actually find touch. Dylan Spence runs it over the boundary line and out of bounds.
Norwood a 9-5-59, leading East Ringwood 2-14 at the moment.
46-point lead at this stage to Ringwood. Farmer against Savoury, but neither of them won the ruck contest. Parsons come good in the second half after a big quiet opening stanza. Strong tackle applied. They're still cracking in, Heathmont. Give them credit for that. Waddell gets boot to ball. Ball doesn't travel too far. Parsons. He's always got that touch of class that makes him stand out. Parsons kicked a Katsiavos on a long lead. Couldn't quite drag in the mark. Even when the ball's on the deck, though, he's dangerous. Farmer gets a little receive from a teammate around the corner. Farmer, and he's put the ball out of bounds, but it's in a dangerous spot still in the forward pocket alongside the behind post as Ringwood will look to attack once more. So Benny, am I correct in saying at the moment Ringwood are fourth, sitting in fourth?
Yep, and they're likely to play Templestowe in the elimination final next weekend. Templestowe with a 28-point lead over Mitcham at three-quarter time.
Back into play, beautifully shot by Tui, copped a high one, didn't get a free kick. I thought he ducked into it. Luke Jones seemed to throw it out to Farmer, and again Farmer can't quite bend the kick back towards the goals, and this time a minus score, and the lead out to 47 points now on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard the way of Ringwood.
Sting's really gone out of this game. Ringwood supporters really enjoying it though. Anthony Hickey plays it to himself. Good kick out towards the Paul direction. Takes the mark. So they linked up well okay there, but Paul's kick was meant for Broadbent. It wasn't too crash shot, but he had the run of Hickey running by him, and he took the handball. Kick it up towards the half-forward line, knocked it well ahead of himself by Odomat. Scoops it up is David Sindri. He might put one through for Heathmont. He pushes it to the left-hand side. Another let-off, another disappointment, and they still just can't manage to get that third goal on the board. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, they moved to 2 goals 10, 22. Yes, the scoreboard's right. And 10 goals, 868 is the Ringwood Football Club.
McCann brings the ball back in to the outer side. Paul worked hard on hands and knees that time. Couldn't quite win the footy though. Waddell sets off with it, but he puts it out of bounds on the fall. We've seen a lot of kicks go over that fence on the outer side, where, as you mentioned earlier, quite a good turnout. Normally nobody stands and watches the footy on that outer side of the ground near the cricket nets, but there is a pretty decent sized throng, a couple of Hawaiian shirts in there as well. As the kick tumbles forward. Pat Burmeister liked his game today, especially in the second half. Thumps it forward. Tui over the back. Soccer's off the ground. He's done that a lot today. Zach Tui has played good wet weather football today. And Saverns takes possession, but in doing so took the ball over the boundary line.
Just a couple of people out. The Wildest Pioneers and Warrandyte games. There's been nothing in it between the two teams all day. Very much in the balance. And with the Glen Waverley Hawks thumping Coldstream at the moment, the Pioneers are every chance to get off of the bottom of the ladder.
On Whitehorse.
2-10-22 at the moment, Heathmont. And Ringwood at 10 goals, 868. Boundary throw-ins. Ferns against Farmer. Greg shuffled out a handball to Waddell, who couldn't quite take possession. Quick kick, tumbled forward from Greg, but it was chopped off by Broadbent. Showing some good dash
serviceable,
as he always does. Yeah, he gives a bit of run and carry out of off that half-back line. Certainly hasn't been the Jets' worst today. Broadbent, who got it to Odomat now. Odomat's very ill-directed kick. They're going the long way home here. Short pass on by Sindri. Clark concedes some ground with the handball. Kick around the corner. Doesn't really favour Heathmont in the end. It's still alive though. Ringwood defence, gee, they've done that well today. They've just cleared beautifully, and watch the spread. They just find loose players everywhere. Off and running now. Tui again the target, but the ball carries over his head and out of bounds. Throw in on the outer side, and the lead is still 46 points away of Ringwood.
That spread you see from contest, Brad Henderson, when they turn the ball over, do you think that's a sign of them normally playing out of the wide expanse of the Jubilee Park, where they're used to doing that and they need to do that to move the ball so quickly on that huge big ground?
I think you're spot on, Frosty. I reckon that's, you know, and they've killed Heathmont in that regard today, for sure.
Well, Lang had the front spot in the rock contest, knocked it to his advantage. He sticks down on hands and knees. He's going to receive the free kick. Went off in the blood real early on in the game, came back nicely wrapped up, moved it to Parsons, who wastes no time to kick it up towards centre half forward, straight over the top of Alani's head. It was intended for Farmer. In there, Sverns. He paid it to his advantage and won the free kick, holding the man. So Heathmont will get out of trouble. So Sverns kicks it out towards the wing position. The ball just holds up once again. That was chopped off by Nolan that time. The kick goes inside forward 50, looking for Katsiavas. He had to meet it on the half volley. He did well. Farmer came in, crunched in a tackle by Hammer. The umpire will come in and bounce it about 40 metres out from goal. Right in front of us here in the broadcast position today. It's a 46-point margin. Ringwood are going to play finals this season in 2012. Great performance by them. Knocked down towards the Katsiavas direction, but he got it in the back of Hammer, and the free kick will go to the Jets. In fact, it's going to be a free kick to Calvin Gregg. Not sure what that was for. It might have been a little bit of holding. The kick goes to the hot spot, and what a beautiful kick as well. It was intended there for Scott Lang. Well done there by Heathmont. John O'Knudsen across centre half back, takes it and goes to Rec. That's a good bit of play. That's what they want to do. That kick goes long, but it was intended for Odermatt, but chopped off at the last line of defence, that time by McCann. He goes short, finds his teammate in Hill. Hill's got players on if he can match them. Burmeister's there of the Pat variety. Darren Paul charges through for Heathmont. Goes backwards to go forwards. Clark didn't take it on the first bite, but had enough time to bang it around on his left boot. He wanted Savoury, but the boundary line once again, that magnetic draw that it has on that outer side of the ground, means we'll have another stoppage. 17 minutes gone here in the final term. It's game, set and match. 46 points margin to the Ringwood Football Club. Over the back, it went into the arms of Eastick. He was quickly wrapped up in a tackle. The umpire wanted to let play go, so he called play on. Katsiavos will be the intended player here. He had to beat two. He kicks it off the ground to himself. He's going to go again. That is super play. What a goal by James Katsiavos. That's his fourth. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, Ringwood surge into the finals with their 11th goal, and they move to 11 goals. 8.75. They're leading by a mile now. 2 goals, 9.25.
Frosty, being the last game of the season, they probably won't closely scrutinise this game, the Jets, but in that situation, one of the defenders had to stay goal side. They both came from behind Katsiavos, gave him front position, and in the end, skillful player like that, he always looked like he was going to kick the goal then.
He's really good at turning his opponents around, and actually getting goal side of his opponent. And even if he leads out, he keeps his feet in the marking contest as well, and that's why he's so good at ground level in buttering up and providing that second effort.
It's a party for the Glen Waverley Hawks at Coldstream. They're leading by 93 points at three-quarter time over Coldstream. The Wildest Pioneers down by 1 point. Watch this space.
Let's go down to Andy Paolici, boundary side, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Yeah, guys, it's Andy here. I think James Katsiavas has watched the Euro 2004 DVD and pre-match, guys. He's loving the soccer skills. He's just creating such a presence down there, and he's a big reason for why the Redbacks will win today.
Definitely putting his hand up for the Narellan Pools, a player of the day. There's been plenty of workhorses as well, Peter Baird, in the Ringwood side in these tough conditions. Wet weather football, that's what we want. Workman-like performances, and most of the Ringwood side today have been able to do so. The umpire throws it up now, came out to the Eastick direction. On hands and knees is King, just trying to hold the ball in there. He's going to earn himself a bounce, so almost on the half-forward line for the Heathmont Football Club. Big margin, 52 points. It's not what we expected. They were undermanned across the forward line, Heathmont. Had a pretty good year, but Ringwood have had a better one. Knudsen kicks it inside forward 50. Odermatt tried to paddle it to his advantage. He got it out to Alani. He just couldn't hold his feet. He handballed it on. Lots of pressure by the Redback backs down there. And there's Macklin just wanting to receive the handle on the outside if they can get it out to him. Burmeister holds it in and we'll have a ball up 25 metres out from goal. It's down the Heathmont end. I mean, kicks to goal for a very long time. Went goalless in the third term. Certainly be wanting to put one or two definitely on the board to finish off their season. It's deep in their forward line. Paul. He's done really well for them today. Gets it out to Knudsen, put himself under a lot of pressure, handballed it out. Waddell, who's nearly been best on ground, fed it out to Burmeister, who snapped it around the body, and the ball bounces its way through the middle of the ground. Chopped off there. That was okay there by George. Kicked it inside forward 50 for the Jets again over the back of the pack. Clark. Is he going to be the first to meet it? It might be advantage paid. No, it's going to come back and it'll be a free kick to Heathmont. I think it's going to go to Daniel Baker, about 45 metres out from goal. It will. So the man who's playing his 250th game for the day, and for his career, in fact. Can't play 251 games in a day, of course, but it'd be good if he could manage to put through a goal. It's not often he comes down and kicks one, the big man. Had to really step up this year in the ruck, and he pushes it to the left-hand side. It's still going to be alive, though. The ball in the forward pocket. Quickly picked up that time by Nick Macklin. He got a little bit of a shove as he pushed it, and the free kick will go down the field, and it'll go the way of Ringwood, and I think this might go to Waddell. Any more scores, Ben Waterworth?
Yeah, Doncaster 3 goals, 7-25, leading Doncaster East 2-4-16. Sharks lead by 9 points at three-quarter time. Roval by 47 over Mulgrave. They probably need to be a bit further in front, though.
Yeah, it won't be enough to get Doncaster off the bottom.
Yeah.
So the kick goes out. It's on the wing position now. Tried to trap it was Parsons. In fact, that was Reeves. Another boundary throw-in. More scores?
In Division 1, Scoresby by 29 over South Croydon, Baldwin by 28 over to Croydon, Knox by 32 over Blackburn, great comeback by them, East Burwood by 9 over Noble Park as the spanner in the works at the moment, Norwood by 45 over East Ringwood, but Vermont are making a statement today, 87-point leaders in front of Lilydale.
Massive performance there by the Eagles. Still another round to go in the home and away season for Division 1 football this year.
Just repeating in Division 2, Doncaster by 9 over Doncaster East, Mooroolbark by 35 over Donvale, Roval by 47 over Mulgrave, Montrose by 44 over Upper Gully, and the Waverley Blues by 2 points over Bayswater.
Excuse me, Himmerman takes the free kick for Heathmont. I think it was for kicking in danger towards centre half forward. Ball in the glue pot at the moment. Somehow it's extracted by King, who sent it forward, and at the moment the margin is 52 points here at H.E. Parker Reserve. So a dominant performance by Ringwood today. Heathmont have not kicked a goal in this second half. That's a galling statistic. It's been a very unhappy day for the Jets, a day that promised much. Hamer takes possession, throws it on the boot. Boundary line was his intention then, I think, and that's what he's found.
Speaking of galling there, Mick Gall's men, Glen Waverley Hawks, up by 93 points over Coldstream, Templestowe by 28 over Mitcham, Baronia by 27 over Churnside Park, North Ringwood by 16 over Wanturna South in a bit of a mud heap apparently to Mark Freeman, and Wildest Pioneers and Warrandyte are all level.
Dylan Sverns there tried to disguise his intention, which was to escort the ball to the boundary line.
So if there's a draw, Whitehorse Pioneers will stay in Division 3?
Yes, because they're level with wins on Coldstream at the moment.
52 points still the margin. Boundary throw-in, forward pocket for Ringwood. Came off hands to Waddell. High kick. Katsiavos sets himself for it. And Robson Long there was caught absolutely red-handed, and there was nothing he could do except toss the ball away in the tackle. And the free kick has gone to Ringwood. It will go to Kieran Hill, who wants to play on, wants to dish off the little handball to Katsiavos, decides against it, thought better of it. And Kieran Hill should go back, that's what he's going to do, line up for goal. Hill lines up the goals nicely, kicks beautiful off the boot, and it is a goal. So Kieran Hill has kicked his first of the day. Katsiavos, I think he was looking for goal number 5, and he was pretty keen on it, but in the end, a wise decision, and the siren sounds. quite a long time after the goal was kicked, so I'm not sure what happened to the time on being added, but in any event, I don't think anyone's too disappointed that this game has been wrapped up, and it is Ringwood 12 goals 880 defeating Heathmont 2 goals 10-22. Ringwood will play finals in season 2012, and Heathmont unfortunately have missed out on the finals. On the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, the final margin, a 58-point win to the Ringwood Redbacks.
Well, they come into this game, didn't know what was going to happen. They were playing away from home. They'd had a pretty good season. The last few weeks didn't fall favourably for them, the Ringwood football side. They needed to win today to keep their season alive, and they did just that. Not only did they win Peter Baird, but they ran away with this game. Boundary. They owned it from the start to finish, and we need to cross down boundary side because we have a very excited coach, Josh Toohey, down there with Braden Ingram or Andy Palici. G'day, guys.
Thanks, BWS. Yes, I am here with a successful Ringwood coach. Josh, just want to take you back to last week. You only kicked 3-2-20 last week. It's a difficult game, and you came out today and played pretty much exceptional footy in difficult conditions. What do you put today's effort and just in a must-win game, what do you put it down to?
Last week in the wet, we probably didn't adapt as strongly as what we should have, and we took the lessons out, and the proof was in the pudding today. We played a perfect wet weather game.
And a huge effort today in the first quarter against the Winds. You kicked 3 goals. Was there a message about that early that you had to come out really strong today after last week, or was it just you wanted a consistent effort across the game?
Yeah, I never understand coaches say you have to get off to a good start because I thought it was all pretty obvious. But I think the guys within themselves, after last week losing a golden opportunity, they weren't going to let it happen again. So that's their credit.
And next week, it looks like you're probably going to play Templestowe. They're up by 28 points at 3/4 time. Do you go in confident in that game?
We go in confident in every game, yeah.
And finally, you spoke at 3/4 time about phases, about phase 1 this week and phase 2 next week. What was all that about?
We just sort of broke down the season into 3 stages. Stage 1, you get to the final. Stage 2, you win enough finals to make it to the big day. And Stage 3's grand final.
Righto, mate. Good luck in the finals.
Thank you very much to Braden Ingram and the victorious coach, Josh Toohey. Joined the Ringwood Football Club in the senior post at about round 3 this year, and it's been a great inaugural season for him and leading his side to a final series where Peter Baird, they might be able to give a few sides a bit of a surprise.
Well, they're actually taking pretty good form into the finals. Other than last week's aberration where they only kicked those 3 goals against the Glen Waverley Hawks, they're really rolling towards September, and they're going to take a little bit of stopping. The problem for Heathmont, though, is once again today, this might be a bit harsh and might be a bit of a harsh criticism of Steve Buckle and his men.
You're very harsh on Heathmont normally, Pete.
He doesn't like him.
No, but today, they once again showed that they didn't have that plan B they could go to when a side got that run on against them and were able to put them to sword early in the game. We saw it a few times this year, and that's probably really what separated the boys from the men in regards to the Ringwood going on to play finals and Heathmont having to sit and watch from the grandstand at East Burwood Reserve next week.
And a number of players being chaired off. Steve Shaw, Darren Paul and Daniel Baker all being chaired from the field. Baker, I guess, for his 250th game, and presumably the final game to be played by Steve Shaw and Darren Paul for the Heathmont Footy Club.
And they're great servants too, and they got a very big round of applause by the faithful who are out here. Their day may not have finished the way that they wanted it to, the fans, but with Jimmy Davidas and the like here at the club tonight, no doubt Heathmont will send off 2012 in fine fashion. They did a pretty good job of it too in this year, to be able to be up there and be in contention to even play finals once you come up a division. That's a hats off effort in itself, Pete.
It certainly is. They're probably disappointed right now about missing out on playing in finals this year, but when they look back and the dust settles and the emotion dies down a little bit, they'd have to be happy with the year they've had this year. They're going to finish in either 6th or 7th spot, depending upon the way the other results go in Division 3 today. And I think if they were offered that at the start of the year, Steve Buckle would have taken it.
Absolutely, and of course plenty of time this afternoon for a few more interviews from the Ringwood Football Club by our Kira Urgent Care boundary riders. But Daniel Sensic, who was on the Choose Tap stats this afternoon, he's going to run through the important stats of the match.
Yeah, for stats that matter, choose tap. There's a few very telling stats here. Marks 33 each for the afternoon. Kicks in Ringwood's favour, 94 to 68. Handballs were Ringwood 41 handballs, Heathmont 57. So maybe Heathmont over-finessing the ball a bit there. But here's the real telling stat, I think, that shows on the scoreboard. Ringwood 59 hit-outs to Heathmont 28. And the centre clearance is 10 to Ringwood and 7 to Heathmont.
Well, we've still got about 35 minutes of this program to go, so that's going to mean that Ben Waterworth is going to be telling you a lot of scores over that next half an hour. Have we got any more finals through?
Yeah, I'm very nervous as well because my phone's on 11% battery, so hopefully we hold up here.
That's plenty.
No, Moorabak 11-11-77 have defeated Donvale 2-4-16. So Donvale's season is officially over. Rowville 10-8-68 have defeated the Mulgrave side 2-6-18. Upper Fentry Gully 3-4-22, losing to Montrose 10-14-74. And looks like Bayswater's goal with about 20 seconds left. So the Blues 7-9-51 have gone down to the Bayswater side, who are 8-9-57. So unfortunately there for the Blues, that hasn't gone their way. Now, it's in Division 3 is where it's all happening at the moment. Heathmont here at HG Park, if you just tuned in, 2-10-22, going down to Ringwood 12-8-8. Do the double chance, and they will finish in 3rd spot. And North Ringwood have knocked over Wani South. North Ringwood 7-6-48, defeating the Wanturna South side 5-3-33. So a bit of a shame there. And the Basin 8-5-53 have defeated South Belgrave 6-5-41. So a 12-point victory for the Basin. I think the same margin earlier on in the season the Basin won by. They go through the home and away season undefeated.
So Ben Waterworth, did we get a score there for the Doncaster East game?
At 3/4 time, because you've got to remember there's about 20 minutes behind every single other game at the moment. Doncaster were in front by 9 points at 3/4 time.
So the magic number there for the Doncaster footy side, they need to win by 45 points to stay in Division 2.
I cannot believe the score I've just come through. Mitcham have got up and beaten Templestowe.
You've got to be kidding me.
Mitcham 6-11-47, defeating Templestowe 6-5-41. Let me just work it out here. Mitcham in the final term have kicked 5 goals for to Templestowe's nothing.
I was going to say it was 6 goals. It was a 6-goal margin virtually, wasn't it?
Templestowe were leading by 28 points at 3/4 time, and Mitcham have come back and won by 6 points.
So there you go, Ringwood versus Mitcham out at East Burwood Reserve next Sunday.
Unbelievable. Nunna Wadding 10-11-71, defeating Eastern Lions 5-7-37 as well. But that Mitcham result is just unbelievable.
Absolutely huge, isn't it? We watched those two sides play in round 1 of this very season, and the fact that they'll come up against each other in an elimination final next week.
Oh, we were good prophets in round 1, weren't we? We were good prophets.
So that will make way for a very interesting game. I don't know where our Kira Urgent Care boundary riders have disappeared to this afternoon. They may have headed into the club rooms and got themselves a hot chocolate, because we are waiting for some more interviews, of course, and they'll have to step outside so we can get a bit of frequency. But I think everybody should start having a look at who their votes were.
Perhaps those boundary riders have gone to tell Josh Chewy they're actually playing Mitcham now. They're not playing the Dockers next week out at East Burwood.
I don't mind what they tell him, as long as they grab a player who must be pretty happy so we can have a chat to them. Ben Waterworth, let's just keep going through some of those scores.
I will, and a tick BWS. I'll just go through some of the other scores around Division 3, just repeating. North Ringwood by 15 points over Wanturna South. Baronia by 20 points over Churnside Park. Ringwood, of course, here by 58 points over the Heathmont side, and Mitcham by 6 points over Templestowe.
Amazing. Anything from the White Horse Pioneers?
The scores, White Horse Pioneers were 7 points up about 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago.
Oh, it's all happening, isn't it, Peter Baird, as you go local for your footy this afternoon? It was
and
great.
Don't we love a final round that throws up results, and the ladder's changing by the minute here in the EFL broadcast caravan.
So does that mean Wanturna South is out of the finals now?
Certainly is.
So they came pretty close. They gave it a fair old crack. You were on board that train for quite some time throughout season 2012, Peter Baird. However, Matt Clark would still probably be pretty happy with how they went. To come up in a game today where they probably should have already been in position to be playing finals, that'll be disappointing, but still, it's an okay year by them.
Yeah, I suppose I'll look back and rue that game that they lost to Ringwood out at Jubilee Park a couple of weeks ago. That was their real chance to cement their spot in the finals. Having come down from Division 2, they would have demanded to have played finals in Division 3 this year. It's not going to be for the Devils, and I reckon they'd be pretty disappointed at the moment.
Brad Henderson, you've seen the Ringwood Football Club a couple of times now over the last month, and what's your take on the Redbacks? Are they a side that... are they going to be able to challenge, is virtually what I'm saying.
I'm not really too sure. They've sort of got that real class in their midfield. to challenge the top couple of sides. I reckon their real class players are their forwards, Katsiavos and Farmer. We saw Scott Lang today play a great game as well. I reckon apart from Adam Parsons, who obviously has been around for a long time, he's still a fine player, but they probably just lack a little bit of that silk in the midfield to contend with North Ringwood or a Glen Waverley Hawks. But their effort's always there. Their willingness to run and tackle and really create a contest is always there. And I think they can certainly be a chance to make a preliminary final. But I don't think they'll quite make it to the big dance that we heard Josh Tui speaking of before.
Well, only time will tell, really, won't it? And of course, got to take in a bit of form with you. And well, they only kicked 12 goals today, but in a day where conditions were pretty tough, Peter Baird, to actually kick 12 goals is a pretty serviceable effort because they've held Heathmont to 2 goals, so their backline's done a superb job also.
It certainly is, and it's similar scoreline to that game against Montana South a few weeks ago. I know we keep harping back to that, but in similar conditions on a different size ground though. That was out of Jubilee Park, but these are the conditions that they love to play in, and we alluded to that pre-game. They love it when a team can't get that run on against them. They can deprive them of space, push them out wide, which is a trademark of their game. They're going to really look forward to taking on Mitcham next week out at East Field Reserve. I reckon it's such a mouth-watering contest. The Redbacks would have to go into that one with favouritism.
Well, you'd think they'd go into it with favouritism only because the ground's dimensions are probably very similar to those out at Ringwood.
It's probably not as wide as Jubilee Park, but it's probably equally as long. So it is a little bit smaller. It's a very big ground anyway, but great conditions out there, and that's probably perhaps the area that Mitcham might be trying to look to exploit next week. Mitcham can move the ball very quickly. You guys saw that last week in the radio game. They are very courageous and obviously have got that belief now. That was the thing that I think Mitcham lacked early in the year, that never say die belief, and to come back and do that to Templestowe in the final quarter to steal a finals berth, that's a huge effort, and Ringwood are going to really have to be on their A game next week to knock over the Tigers.
They'll be shattered, won't they, the Templestowe Football Club? Let's have a look at some more scores around the grounds with Ben Waterworth.
Yes, Ferntree Gully Eagles kicked away in the final term. 30-point winners over Forest Hill. The Basin by 12 over South Belgrave. Sylvan a good win over Kilsyth today by 37 points. And Nunawading by 34 points over the Eastern Lions. Phil Merton apparently telling you that it'll be at Heathmont next week's game. Whatever game you were talking about then, I wasn't listening, but Phil just texting it'll be at Heathmont, whatever game you're talking about.
The Mitcham-Ringwood game.
Mitcham-Ringwood game might be
It'll be at East Field. At Vermont. Sorry, it will be too. It'll be out of Vermont Reserve.
In Division 3 scores, just repeating, Mitcham have kicked 5 goals 4 to zip in the final term to run over Templestowe by 6 points. Quite an unbelievable effort. Ringwood 12-8-80, leading Heathmont 2-10, defeating Heathmont 2-10-22. Baronia defeating Churnside Park by 20 points, and North Ringwood defeating Montana South by 15 points. In Division 2, Mooroolbark by 61 over Donvale, Roval by 50 over Mulgrave, Montrose by 52 over Upper Gully, and Bayswater by 6 over the Waverley Blues. Just got a tweet through from Warrandyte, just bear with me as this puppy loads. Whitehorse Pioneers, I think, are leading by 2 points. I think the game isn't over yet. 8-6-54 the Pioneers to Warrandyte 8-4-52. I'll bring you up to date. The scores come to hand.
So we can announce the Division 2 Choose Tap finals in the first week of the finals next week.
Boundary.
On Saturday will be Roval taking on Montrose out at Jubilee Park. On Sunday it will be Mooroolbark. They'll be playing Bayswater at Jubilee Park. So they're the Division 2 finals we will get next week. The winner of the Roval-Montrose game booking themselves a berth in the grand final. The loser of the Mooroolbark and Bayswater game, curtains for 2012.
Let's cross down Boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care. They're alive, the Boundary Riders.
Yeah.
Andy Paolici.
Yeah, we're definitely alive here, guys, and live. I've got Ryan Grinter with me. Ryan, the boys got off to a fast start today, which was crucial to the overall standing of the match. What was the message from Josh Tui before the game?
Our objective was, after the last couple of weeks, we've had started off with really poorly, and we really wanted to get off a good start, especially with the conditions today. You know, we were battling against the wind the first quarter, so we wanted to get a few goals on the board, and we did that.
Yeah, definitely. A big season from you personally. How have you rated it?
Started off pretty slowly. I had a very interrupted pre-season. I didn't actually decide to play footy until about 6 weeks before the first game. And just started off in the forward line and got a bit of fitness into me. And Chris Nanya, who went overseas, playing first ruck for the first half, and then I took over the ruck second half of the year after I got my fitness levels up. Yeah.
Fantastic. And there seems to be a lot of belief in the side that the Redbacks can go all the way. Besides the obvious, what will it take to clinch that coveted premiership glory?
I guess it's going to be a good team effort because we need to keep our injuries have been really good in the last half of the season, so we kept our injuries down. So we kept a full list, and all the boys and even the reserves are playing finals this year for the first time in a while. So it's good to have all the boys on the track, and good camaraderie between the boys. So
yeah, definitely a great season from Ringwood, and hopefully better still to come. Congratulations today.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much to our Kira Urgent Care boundary riders. May as well make your way back over to the caravan, boys, because we've got some awards to give out and some votes to do. And of course, there's plenty more games happening around the East Bend Waterworth. Let's hear those scores again.
Certainly are. Unfortunately, Pete, you won't be heading out to Canterbury, Surrey Park. You can head out to Canterbury if you want, because Canterbury are 15-13, 103, I should say, to the Surrey Park side, 6-10. 46, so a 57-point win to Canterbury, and just got through from the Wildest Pioneers. They've won.
Yeah!
The Wildest Pioneers have got up. They're staying in Division 3.
Wow. Anzac.
Can you believe it? So Coldstream are getting thumped by the Hawks. I haven't got that score through at the moment, but Coldstream will be going down to Division 4 next year. The Wildest Pioneers, they can say, oh, gee, that's going to be a large party. Where are they party tonight? I don't know where they're going to go, but it's going to be a large party.
They were a certainty, Peter Baird.
You said that, BWS, and reclaiming a little bit of credibility with your tipping.
Oh, is that all you got? Yeah, my tipping hasn't been too crash shot, but I'm not one that has a little bit each way like yourself, who tips one thing and then says another on radio, so he's covered and looks like a guru in everything. We're going to have a break.
I learnt the best from Sean Kelly.
He learnt from the best. We're going to have a break here on EFL Game Day. There's still 25 minutes to go. We're going to go through our votes and, of course, keep going through all those scores as they keep rolling into Ben Waterworth around the grounds. But it's back to Barry Cotts in the studio. We'll be back right here in a moment on EFL Game Day.
Hello, I'm Barry Mackay. And I'm William Broom. Don't miss the greatest hits of the 60s, 70s and 80s on It's Time, Saturday night at 6 o'clock on Radio Eastern 98.1.
Otherwise, you think you're shopping back into the game, talking about the game.
Yep.
What did you say Mitchum got over to?
Mitchum kicked 5 goals for to Mitchum kicked 5 goals for to nothing in the final 2 games by 6 points. Did you tell them? We've got 5% back though. No, I didn't know. If worst comes to worst, Pete, I'll have to go to my car.
Saturday mornings are often times for all the odd jobs and shopping, but why not spare some time for Radio Eastern and the Studio 2 show from 9 to 11 every Saturday? The team, Trevor Bransgrove, Peter O'Brien, Kelly McCosker and Julia Zermatt will brighten your Saturday morning right here on Radio Eastern 98.1 FM on the Studio 2 show.
Doncaster only up by 12 minutes.
Radio Eastern 98.1. It's coming up to 22 to 5. This is EFL post-match. But before we get back to the boys at the ground there, let's check some AFL scores. And we have a final score at the MCG today. In the end, it was a big win to the tune of 96 points to the Blues. It was Carlton 24-12, 156, defeated Essendon 8-12-60. Major goal kickers for Carlton, Jared Wade ended up with 5 and 3 each to Gullett and Dasbolt. And for Essendon, Cremery 2, also Paddy Ryder 2 and Willie 1. And the game continuing up there at Monica Oval in camp this afternoon is between GWS and Melbourne. It's the 20-minute mark of the last quarter, and it's Melbourne 10-17-77, leading GWS 6-5-41. Now, what do you do when you have a medical emergency? Public emergency departments do a great job, but are always busy and often have long waiting times. Private hospitals charge you $280 or more for additional services. But out of the Care Urgent Care, there is no waiting and will only pay a maximum of $150 out of pocket, which includes other diagnostic services you may need. So which option should you choose? Akira Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Verona, or phone them on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care, your health, your destiny.
In desperate need of some windows but your budget's too tight? Never fear, because the team at TMV Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give us a call, 8727 7506. That's 8727 7506. TMV Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name. Part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. #1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
If you love your EFL footy like I do and you love getting down to see your team play, you don't want to be spending your weekend stuck in the car driving. That's why I opened a Breeze account. EastLink is the quickest, easiest way to get around Melbourne's East, and Tags are the cheapest way to use EastLink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au today and use EastLink in the cheapest possible way with a Tag account. Instead of being stuck behind the wheel, I can have more time getting stuck into the umpire. Ball! EastLink, it's time better spent, like at the footy.
Program sponsor.
To get into EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Yes, we're out here at HT Parker Reserve. The players have left the field. The crowd's departed into the club rooms to have a nice refreshment. But today it was Ringwood making their way to play finals this season in Division 3. 12 goals, 880. Defeated Heathmont 2 goals, 10-22. Heathmont not kicking a goal for the second half. They haven't had Darren Sheen, their big Centurion goal kicker, for the past couple of weeks after he got rubbed out for some naughty language towards umpires. So it was a big miss for them. We thought Mickey Aiken might come in and play for the Heathmont Football Club today to structure them up, but he hasn't really played for about 15 weeks now, Mickey Aiken, so it was always going to be tough for him to step up. But they did like, I think, the Heathmont Football Club scaring everybody a little bit this week by naming him in the side. We've got to go through our votes thanks to Narellan Pools, who are our major sponsor of the day, and they sponsor the best player on the ground. Ben Waterworth still getting in all those scores from around the ground, so we'll have an update from him very shortly. We've got the team to go through their 3, 2 and 1 this afternoon. We're going to start over in the stats chair and we'll make our way back around this way. Daniel Sensic, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats. How did you see your 3, 2 and 1 this afternoon?
Yeah, look, I gave Davis 1 vote. I thought he was fantastic in and under today and really provided a lot of service for the other Ringwood ruck and at times around the other parts of the ground. But Grinter was the main man for 3 votes that I gave. Langman was 2 votes, mind you, but Grinter got 3 from me. Fantastic in the ruck.
What were the hit-outs?
Hit-outs were 59 to 28, so he gave real service and an armchair ride to those Ringwood midfielders today, which proved a difference on the scoreboard.
Thank you very much to Daniel Sensic. Thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats. Andy Paolici's second gig on the boundary line this afternoon. How did you see it out in the wet this afternoon, mate?
I saw it similarly, actually, with Scott Lang getting the 1 vote, as Dan said. Yeah, gave Grinter a good chop out there and really provided a target up forward as well, kicking the 2 goals. Gone a little bit differently for the 2 votes. I've given it to James Katsiavos. Yes, he didn't get too much of the ball, but when he did, he provided a real presence and just his willingness to work and his ability to get goal side and put those chances away. It really proved to be the difference today. But for me, yeah, Ryan Grinter in the ruck was absolutely superb. Just did it all when it had to be done right from the start. And yeah, he also gets a vote because he's a good bloke too. So there you go.
Oh, giving votes for good blokes.
Good blokes.
At least you're not giving 3 votes like Artie Hall did to a player who only had 1 kick for the day. We'll never ever forget that, Artie, and we'll bring it up as much as we like. Peter Baird in the special comments chair. 3, 2 and 1 this afternoon, mate.
I gave my votes a little bit differently to those guys. I do give an apology to Grinter. I couldn't squeeze him into my votes, so I thought he was good, but I thought his second half wasn't as good as his first half. My 1 vote went to Scott Lang, though. I thought he was fantastic. He helped out around the ground. To my 2 votes, though, went to Andrew Waddle from Ringwood. I thought he was super coming off half-back. He used the ball really well for them. But I gave 3 votes to Luke Davis. I thought he was in and under. He worked hard. He fed the ball out. He was the engine room today for the Ringwood Footy Club, and I thought he was the best player on the ground.
Thank you very much, Peter Baird, in the special comments chair today. Braden Ingram arrived late. He played reserves game for the Basin Football Club today. I'm not too sure how they went. How'd you go out there today?
Went down by 20 points to South Belgrave. The good thing was the seniors got up, so very happy about that.
Very good. Well, maybe you should have got a few more kicks and your boys would have got over the line. But 3-2-1, that's what we were talking about. Narellan Poole's player of the day. How did you see it, mate?
Well, I saw my first vote went to Andrew Waddell. I thought he just busted packs, got in and under, and he was super, especially in the first half. 2 votes to James Katsiavos. He got Ringwood off to a flyer. Not that I saw it, but Andy reliably informs me that he was certainly good in the first quarter and after that as well. Up forward was a great target and just scrapping goals. I think there might have been one off the ground in that third or maybe even the fourth term, which was a super goal. But I gave 3 votes to Scott Lang. You guys mentioned him before. Kicked 2 goals, was up forward, but also saw him in the midfield. And he linked up with Trent Farmer quite a lot. And I thought that was a really good partnership between those two, but Lang best on today.
And of course, Brad Henderson in the co-commentator's chair this afternoon.
A little bit different again. Yeah, no, sorry about that. A little bit different to some extent, but I gave 1 vote to Scott Lang. I thought he was terrific. I thought his battle with Jake Sheriff was a great matchup, and Lang certainly took the honours, but Sheriff was a good competitor for Heathmont. But in the end, Scott Lang was a great performer today. Gave him 1 vote. Gave Andrew Waddell 2 votes as well, as a couple of the other guys have. I thought he was fantastic in the midfield. Won so much of the footy. And fine game from him. And I gave 3 votes to someone who no one's given a vote to so far, which really surprised me, which was Trent Farmer. I thought he was outstanding early and was pretty good all day, really. But certainly when the game was there to be won in that first half, when Ringwood was starting to make their move and kick clear, him and Scott Lang were really the 2 players instrumental. Take nothing away from James Katsiavos. He provided the excitement today, and there wasn't much of it. But he was the one who sort of provided the memorable moments of the game. But most of that was sort of after the game was done and dusted. I thought Trent Farmer was great early when the match was there to be won, and I gave him the 3 votes. Yeah, apologies to Ryan Grinter. Couldn't sneak him in for a vote though, because I actually thought Daniel Baker did a pretty good job against him. I thought it was a good battle between those 2, and Daniel Baker certainly wasn't. It was a commendable performance by him in his milestone game. So Ryan Grinter still massive workload for Ringwood, which was impressive.
Well, Heathmont aren't going to get any players on the board for votes this afternoon because all my 3 go to the Ringwood Football Club. I will give a bit of a shout out though to Luke Broadbent from Heathmont. I thought he was really good, and of course Darren Paul in his last game was a really serviceable effort. Maybe his skills have a little bit waned over his last couple of years, Darren Paul, but his effort and his endeavour is fantastic, and I just love watching him play football, and maybe they can convince him to stay on. Another apology goes out to Scott Lang and Ryan Grinter. Just couldn't squeeze them into the votes this afternoon. I know we've spread them around quite a bit this afternoon for the Redbacks, but my 1 vote goes to Trenton Farmer today. I agree with you, Brad. He was one of the players to stand up. I mean, times where conditions were pretty bloody ordinary out here today at H.E. Parker, he just made it look a little bit like dry weather football. He led from the front and he created that option that they needed just to get the jump on Heathmont and then run away with it. So he gets my 1 vote. James Katsiavos gets my 2. And what a super game it was by him. He just knew how to use his skills today in this type of conditions. He was there, he was here, he was absolutely everywhere, and I was just really wrapped with the way he went about things. And his second and third efforts are what really impressed me as well. If he doesn't take the mark, his dive at the ball and his want to have the pill is just absolutely amazing. But Andrew Waddell, it's Waddell or it's Waddle. We do apologise if we haven't got it right this afternoon, but he was just absolutely super. He gets my 3 votes. He's an engine room from start to finish today, the number 14, and he had actually really good skills today, and when players around him weren't really delivering, he was really a player that stood up. And
the way he was able to pick the ball up off the ground in wet conditions as well and really provide that run, he was fantastic. You're right.
So that's my 3 votes, which might get us to our total now. Thanks, Brad Henderson. You want to go through the leaderboard?
Oh, well, we've got a tie, which is interesting. We've actually got a tie all the way down the leaderboard because we had both Trent Farmer and Luke Davis on 4 votes each, and so they were equal 5th and 6th. Then we had equal 3rd and 4th, Ryan Grinter and James Katsiavos with 6 votes each, and then equal on 8 votes each, Andrew Waddell and Scott Lang. So they, I guess, yeah, it's a tie. As far as countback goes, well, they both got 1 3 voter each. Andrew Waddell got two voters compared to Scott Lang only got 2 votes from one of us. So I guess Andrew Waddell nabs it on the countback.
Yes, Andrew Waddell will give the best player on the ground to this afternoon. He'll win a Narellan Pools $100 gift voucher to spend whichever way he so chooses. So congratulations to him. We're a happy man enjoying